I'd love to answer more questions. I feel like I'll save these questions at a later point during the podcast so that we do have a bit more time to kind of talk to chat and whatnot. But we do have quite a few topics that we need to get through. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So I think I'm going to just start off by saying, welcome to the Too Good Cast. It's your boy Timo. You guys already knew that. We're back again with my beautiful co-hosts, Mr. Static Wars and Miss Lil Piglet.
Thanks.
How are we doing today, guys?
What's good?
Thanks, Timo.
Thanks,
Timo.
Nah, this guy. Guys, it's been a while since we last, we got together. Obviously, a lot has actually happened over the last, I'd say, 6 to 8 weeks now. Gaming in general has had quite a few shifts, quite a few things happen here and there. But we all know why we're mainly here. We've got quite a few things to kind of dissect, divulge, and more importantly, be excited for. You know what I'm saying? Warren, I think it's good to obviously see, the uprise in, a few of the other FPS titles. I know that you and Piggy were, quite heavy on X Defiant.
Yeah.
And early doors, obviously, season 1 has officially dropped for that game. I'd like to know where your ideas are at that maybe later on in the podcast, but just kind of get a feel from you. How's everything going?
Do you know what? X Defiant, has been a real breath of fresh air regarding like FPS. Like, I'm the kind of gamer that likes to play a variety of games. Hashtag, the variety gamer. But yes, so I would say pre-season X Defiant was brilliant. It had me addicted at one point. I think Piggy could probably co-sign that as well. We were addicted at one point. We're playing the game with smiles on our face, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I didn't hop on to absolutely sweat my ass off and rage at the game, because it's boring. It's cliched now to just jump on and rage at the game. Obviously everyone has their rage moments, but X Defiant has brought back the fun in gaming for me, especially FPS as well, because a lot of people, when it comes to FPS, I feel like they've lost the value in having fun on a shooter because everybody wants to be the best or the best they can be. Do you know what I'm saying? So X Defiant really brought that back for me, and I would say pre-season leading up to season 1, I was absolutely content until ...
Okay. And obviously, look, like, I think every game is gonna have its, I wouldn't say issues, but like every game is gonna meet its obstacles. I would say obstacles. I think it's still very early doors, and there's still quite a lot of excitement going around X Defiant. I've seen creators that haven't really made any form of content FPS wise go straight in with X Defiant, and they're doing spectacular. And I think it's just good to see like a breath of fresh air. I've seen Piggy with her guides in regards to different operators. I want to call them operators for now. But like, there you go.
Factions.
You know what I'm saying? Factions. So like just kind of seeing that and being able to kind of dive into something that, a lot of people have kind of tried to compare to COD without giving it a fair chance. Honestly, I think it's its own entity, it's its own game. People need to give it that sense. It's not supposed to be a quote unquote COD killer or something that's supposed to even compete with Warzone. It's still a multiplayer game, guys. It's just multiplayer. Like, there is no this idea that people need to now, it has to match BR, it doesn't have to do any of those things. Right? Go speak to the CEO. He'll tell you what you need to hear. You understand? That guy is very active on the timeline. I love how active he is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
So just to piggyback off of what you're saying, about it being its own entity. The reason why we talk about X Defiant is obviously everyone has compared it to Call of Duty, and we're a Call of Duty podcast. We got to speak about games that could potentially be a part of the same market, right? But I would like to put a stamp in this now, because it has been so long that this debate has been going on, and I think with Black Ops 6 coming out, I think we need to just accept that they are both very different games. But what X Defiant has brought is that old Treyarch-like gameplay that people have been missing, and I think people are really loving it because it's reminding us of the nostalgia that we have been missing, but also in like a modern updates now, so for it to still survive. So I think X Defiant is not going anywhere. It's not a COD killer, nor is it gonna fizzle out. It's gonna have an esport. It's gonna continue to thrive. It's gonna have its niche community. I'm still gonna play it, but we all know what the real game we're gonna be grinding.
Okay.
We all know it's gonna be BO6. Let's be real.
Yeah.
She said
are.
the banned word. She said the banned word, guys. Nothing.
I'm sorry. I have to. But by no means does that mean XFI is not a great game. It is. It just needs a lot of time. It's one of those games going to be around for years. I'm not going to try and make a perfect game in the first year.
No, exactly.
So let's just keep our eyes on it. Keep supporting it. But there is a game that's coming out soon.
And before we kind of dive into that part of the podcast, because we still got a ways to go, we're obviously gonna have to look at the title that we're currently on. Obviously, guys, look, y'all already catch me live. If you don't, you catch me in the Discord. I'm still playing Call of Duty MW3 and I'm still playing Warzone, right? We've been through, the last podcast we put out was quite a while ago. However, we've now seen seasons 4 and 4 Reloaded. I know I've been playing it. The question is, have y'all been playing it? We can keep this nice and sweet.
We'll be honest.
Yeah, we can be honest.
Yeah, okay.
I think Piggy goes first.
I'm sorry. I have not touched Modern Warfare 3 in over a month.
Okay.
I apologize. I have to be honest here. I can cap. I'm not gonna cap. I'm not capping NATO. I don't have knees.
I'm just gonna go with the PR statement here. So I've been playing. Yeah.
Okay.
Nah. Do you know what it is? I've even despite not playing Modern Warfare 3, because obviously I have taken a small little hiatus from Modern Warfare or Warzone, because I would still play Modern Warfare multiplayer, just not Warzone.
Yep.
Do you know what? It's just to have a break, because I knew that obviously Black Ops is the next Call of Duty, so I kind of just want to be refreshed, ready, to go kind of thing. It's not really anything against the actual game like Modern Warfare, because I still think Modern Warfare is a good game. It's just I've gone through so much bullshit with Warzone, Call of Duty that, excuse the language, sorry, but I have to put it like that I just need to have some sort of a break. Do you know what I mean? Because my mental was really taking its toll, so I had to be self-aware, had to separate myself from pits of hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna stand on this statement, right? I don't think MW3 gets enough credit for what it is. I don't think Warzone is I won't say it's in the same light, but I will still say the same thing for it, only because, and I always go back to this point with this podcast, we've had it a lot worse. Like when he talks about the pits of hell, I know we're talking about Warzone 2.0, right? That shit burns in hell twice, 3 times on a Sunday, all right? But you see, with Warzone currently and MW3, for me, they've done a good job. And I think because of the hype of BO6, people have now already moved past it and said, you know what, I'm done with this title. I want to play a few different games. I've seen a lot of people jump on Elden Ring, and it's been a great watch. Being able to diversify your content, also your ability to play different games is really important, I find, anyway. And it kind of shows a different aspect to you, your personality, and what you're able to kind of do. Then we've got, Warren's been playing Lives of Pi. Is it Lives of Pi?
Liza
P. Then you've got you could, I can't lie, W fucking watch. A lot of people have been playing Dark Souls. I went back to play BO3. Hey, listen, I'm still playing Call of Duty. Me and Piggy went and played BO3 just this past weekend. Still hey, listen, man.
Yeah, that hit
if you watched what we watched yesterday and how they made mention of BO3, it all makes sense.
We'll talk about it.
It all makes sense.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I don't want people to think that we believe MW3 is a bad game, because it's really not.
It's not. We're not saying that.
We're not saying that at all. I think people need to understand that actually they are in the best position possible, because before it was a cult following. We didn't like what was going on, but we kept playing. I kept looking forward to future titles out of habit. Now, you find people taking a little break here and there from Modern Warfare 3, but what you'll find is everybody has COD still in their hearts and in their mind, and we are actually excited about the next title. The jump between Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, people were in bondage and suffering. Let's be real. Like, we were actually suffering. But right now, it's like this off-season, rather than it being a bitter note, I think this is the most excited we have been for Call of Duty as a whole. And the reason for that is because of Modern Warfare 3. So we have to give the game its credit, its flowers, for literally bringing our faith back, because it really is not a bad title. It's a very good title. They do a lot of great things, but it's a title that was not meant to be the next step for Activision. We all know that. Like, this is supposed to be like the last chapter of a 6 to 7 year period that was rocky. And they've ended it on such a better note than we thought they would. And we have to clap it up for them, because they managed to bring something back that honestly we thought was dead.
I can't disagree.
Did its job. I'm not gonna lie, it did a great job, and we have to really give it its respect.
And I know we speak about it being able to kind of do what it needed to do before the new titles come back, and that's more or less bring a lot more of the player base back. I know obviously back end of season 3 we saw the return of Rebirth Island, and a lot of people were really excited to kind of play that map again, because obviously it'd been out of rotation for almost exactly 2 years? I want to say it's exactly 2 years. Look, like, I think the mere fact that we've been able to kind of have that experience where we're able to kind of relive some of the experiences that we've had, not necessarily on PC. I know a lot of people around are on PC now, but that experience for me started on console. I was still on the PS4 when Rebirth Island dropped. I think I just transitioned to PS5. And there are some people that didn't even play the first iteration of Rebirth, and it's their first chance being able to play it now. So kind of being able to kind of give that back, I still feel to this day it's something they should have never pulled out of rotation. That's just my personal opinion. But I mean, bygones will be bygones. They did a lot worse last year than they have this year, so I can't hate as much as like some people will. Bringing in season 4, obviously this is more so a review, because we've had a lot of stuff going on with season 4, not just in regards to the game perspective from casuals, but competitive as well. We got given quite a few different things. Obviously multiplayer, they've just smashed multiplayer out of the park with the maps that they put in the game. I know a few people that were really in love with Tokyo and Paris. I'm not sure how people feel about Incline, because obviously that's more so something that happened more in season. But I want to talk to you guys about guns, because obviously I guess the meta for the period of time, whether you were playing multiplayer or Warzone, was the Superior in the car. Most notably the car. I want to talk about the car because I think that seems to have sent quite a lot of people into early retirement. I'll come back BO6. I don't care about the nerf. It's still broken. Of course, I'll go into the fact that they did introduce another nerf. But sniping was, for like to a lot of people, sniping was back, because that's now like, it's a thing where anybody that picked up a car back in the old MW19 on Warzone 1 will tell you that was their baby. That was their entry into using, a fast. I never
used to snipe before.
Fast ADS sniping, and then all of a sudden, you become a professional. Unfortunately, I think that's part of the problem with the car. It was too easy to use. They had too much going on with it in regards to damage range, fire rate, which I still think is stupendous because of how quick people are able to kind of still shoot after their first initial shot. And ultimately, anybody of any skill, which I'm not completely always against this, but anybody of any skill can do anything with that gun.
Yeah.
Facts. Now, it's not a rewarding gun, because at the end of the day, you're like, when you are winning every gunfight the same exact way without having to kind of even stomach any form of challenge, it doesn't promote player growth for me. It also doesn't promote like your skill. There's no skill gap. There's no skill gap introduced to that gun at all. And something that I felt that we kind of realized with MW3 was that there were so many variety of guns that they've dropped over the last few seasons that for me felt as if, like, yes, that's the reason why that gun wins in that specific gunfight. Or let's say, for instance, the way it's been built, it rewards this type of player more than the common player, right? With the car, it didn't matter what class you had, it was broken. And like I said, it sent quite a few people away.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that wasn't the reason.
Nerf,
yeah. Okay. Go on.
Do you know what it is? I personally, for me, when it gets to the end of a game's life cycle, I'm one of those people. Just throw it in, man. Just leave it in. Come on, make everything.
Oh yeah, no.
Everyone have some fun.
Yeah.
I do respect the fact that they just listen quickly. Like, people were complaining a lot about that car. Like, and not just casuals, but even like people competing and pros were saying this is just not competitive. And at the end of the day, World Series of Warzone and all these like resurgence practice and things like that are happening now. So they can't wait to fix it and then do it like on the last month of the game. Like they have to make sure that the last few months are still enjoyable for everyone. And I just like the fact that they're still taking balancing into consideration. They're not just kind of throwing caution to the wind, like, well, BO6 is coming out, so no one really cares. It's not like that, you know. They still care about people's experience in Modern Warfare 3. So I actually don't mind the nerf. I just feel like, you know, we kind of just have to still remember that this game is a standalone game. It is not a warm up to the next title. Just
even to intervene there, even just before Warren quickly says something. I actually think the intended use of that car is nobody wanted it to come in and be terrible, right? And I think considering they just brought Rebirth back, that I probably have to find a stat somewhere, but it's like most people's weapon selection probably during the time the car was in the previous engine, it would have been quite high on the car. Now, if you bring in a gun that's not good from the start, because a lot of people worried that it wasn't going to be the Car 98 from MW19, it would be like the Car 98 from Vanguard. And you want to completely remove that distinction straight away and just like, no, this is the actual Car 98 that everyone knows and loves, no matter how you build it, right? So I think it was important for them to be able to make a statement with its introduction into the game. And they did that by basically breaking the game. So I don't like the fact that it has to go to that extent, but I understand why they did it. I just think in the future, when they're looking to bring in guns, I always talk about testing. But like, just do some form of testing. Maybe they do. Maybe just, you know, get a bit more testing done so that, you know, it doesn't become a thing where there is a required nerf from day one. Like, we know what the snake shots were like. We know what fire shotguns were like. And since then, they might have like a rare occurrence here and there from the odd user, but they don't break the game per se. I think as in terms of competitive integrity, as well as being able to have fun, they need to find a balance. That is the only thing that I think they could have done. I think the nerf came a bit later than they would have liked, most people would have liked. But at the end of the day, look, you haven't had the car for 2 years. Let's have a bit of fun before they, you know what I mean? So
before we move on,
that's kind of how I look at it.
Sassy had a little question just to piggyback off of what you said. Obviously, like, I agree with them saying the developers kind of know exactly what they want from jump, right? Do you think that they should involve the community more in regards to all aspects of development? Now, my answer
is no.
No.
To an
because
extent.
there's an order of things. So I feel like when we see something for the first time, no, our opinion should not matter. Like, they should be able to drop something innovative that came from them first, and then take our feedback on that. I don't think that they should withhold releasing something
and then wait for us to
tell them, okay, don't do it or do it, because I just feel like that ends up we end up having a game made by us. We can't make games. Community are not equipped to make video games, but we can inform on what is working in the ecosystem only by using it in the ecosystem, not before it reaches servers. So I don't feel like we should have too much control over the creative decisions, but we should have a avenue to give feedback afterwards, and hopefully they will listen to us moving forward.
Hence
so
why,
it's like a yes and no answer.
Hence why, like, I feel like when PulseTech, you know, when they started their podcast, it wasn't like a we demand this, we demand that kind of conversation. Like, of course, there'll be a large portion of the community that agree with some of the takes that come off on that podcast. Much like there'll be a number of people that agree with, you know, so-and-so quote tweets or initial tweets on the timeline on Twitter. I think there's definitely like a percentage of us that are heard through other means, but I still feel like it's a thing where if they listen to every single thing that came through community, it wouldn't be Call of Duty anymore. Like, you'll have that element of the game losing its identity, and then they, like, God forbid this ever happens, but they'll turn around and say, we listened to you guys, and this is what happened. We kind of gave you guys complete freedom and control of what we did with our game, and this was the result of it. Like, I don't want it to then be a thing where that game is a failure and that's looked at in community, and they never look at content creators or they never look at casual players to kind of have some form of like communication to kind of like figure out what can be done to better the game. If they give us like, if it's like saying they completely remove all shackles, right? Now on this case, and I'm talking MW3 specifically, because if this was Warzone 2, I think we could have done, as a community, we could have done, you know, MW2 Warzone 2, if this was a community aspect of things, we should have been let to have the game for ourselves and do whatever the hell we want. We're talking like creative mode on Fortnite type shit, right? That's kind of how I look at it. However, because the game is actually in a much better state, and all of the calls for like we've spoken about unlimited tax sprint and like a better animation for slide cancels, no delays, all this other stuff, I get why people want those things. But you have to look at it from a general gamer's perspective that not all gamers are above average. So there's always going to be that element of being able to have that balance.
Majority of gamers in the industry are below average, though.
There you go.
Yeah. Because to consider yourself average means you're a competent like gamer at whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't even have to be FPS. It could be like an RPG or whatever it may be. Like I've heard the term professional souls like players, where people do these no level up level 1 runs and stuff like that. So to kind of even get as close to that level of skill is very impressive. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's not be surprised when developers are catering the game to the casuals, because
I just want to point out there as well.
That's where the money is. Like let's smell the coffee. You know what I mean?
I just want to put this out there as well. We watched the COD pod yesterday, right, Piggy? And we heard what they had to say in regards to the level of people that are in the studio. And we also heard about how they come up against some of the pros that have, like, they've played the game, but they're like, hold on, we didn't know the devs had it like that. You get it? So, of course, we can always look at it and think, devs don't play their games. Let's just say the minor percentage of that do play, they're pros. They're really good at the games they play, all right? So, I won't,
developer by developer basis. Like we can make blanket statements, but there are some that are anomalies to the rule. And the thing is, communication would solve a lot of this. Like it's not our fault that we have this perception on devs, because overall they're really bad at communicating. Call of Duty did something they've never done before this year, which is actually speak to us. We sound so mad and so simple, but they actually chat to us now, like as people. They look on socials, they look on Twitter, they interact, and you see it. And when we watched the COD pod, one of the first things that I think it's like the head of development for like movement and stuff like that. He literally said, we tried something, we didn't like it, and then we went to see if other people would like it, and they didn't like it, so we didn't do it.
It's interesting.
For this reason.
It's interesting bringing up that point. I think that point was initially on an animation that they wanted to involve. So I believe it was like a sidestepping animation, and they tried to integrate it, and they didn't feel like. And the one thing that they spoke about comprehensively was fluidity. Throughout the whole conversation, it was just on fluidity, and it just didn't feel like it was in line with everything else they were bringing in. And mind you, they didn't use the current base of the game. They went back and used BO3 referencing. So they tried to look at it from perspective of a game that they know, one, played very well, two, fan base had no arguments over. It was a game that genuinely a lot of people enjoyed, and they wanted to kind of see, okay, look, they've got wall running mechanics, they've got an element of a jump in there, and even the slide cancelling from there. They tried to kind of integrate towards this engine. So in a way, if you've been inspired by a game that's very successful and you're still finding animations, by the way, they have over 1,000 animations that they tried to implement into this game already with the other animations they already had in the game. If they found one animation that they thought would work and it didn't work, they know what they're doing. At this point, I can agree.
Knowing that is the biggest difference. Usually we just get the finished product, and it's like, we don't know why they made these decisions. Knowing why someone made a decision can really help with your frustration, because it's like, it's very easy from us on this side to be like, oh yeah, this could have been different, this could have been better, this could have been da-da-da-da. But when they actually say to you, no, we tried that, now what? It wasn't good. Like, you can't say anything. You have to accept it.
You just have to accept it for what it is.
I do think having that now, having a whole like podcast where we get direct information from them on why they did certain things is really going to help the community to just accept and adapt to the things that they put into the game, rather than asking a million questions and getting nothing answered. Like, that's why I have high hopes for this game as well, because it started in Modern Warfare 3. It started with all of these new seasons, them putting up polls, them putting up, you know, Twitter posts and asking the community to kind of vote on what rotation they put on and things like that. Like, it's all these attempts to keep us in the loop. No, we are not in control and we are not making the game, but to know that we are being accommodated in some way is going to make a really big difference to retention when things aren't necessarily that easy to get used to, because not everything's going to be easy to adapt to, but when you have that, you will stay a little bit longer, and I think that's going to be the reason why BO6 is going to be the greatest game we've had in the last 10 years.
I think the other thing that people also need to take into consideration as well, I know Wolfie in chat said how it's hard to find a balance between pros, casual players, and content creators and a general consumer. That is borderline impossible for almost any gaming studio, period. Like, if you go to a dev or you go to a CEO of whatever and you tell them, I want this game to cater towards this demographic, and then I want you to add this demographic, and then this demographic, and then one more, like, it's almost like you're saying, bro, can we not just make 4 different games? I'd like you know, honestly, because there are already a number of studios that are already involved. With each studio comes a set of developers, a different type of team in regards to being able to communicate at least what they're trying to do or what they're trying to accomplish. And you got to remember, for the last 4 years, I think the studios have been combining in order to try to make the best game possible, albeit from a position where COVID really hit badly, and you could tell by the last couple of games how badly those were affected. But to have the best of interest for, let's say, content creators like ourselves, right? That is and they've always come out and said this, like, it is a small portion of the wider, you know what I mean? Of the wider scope of things. So it's like saying, if 20% of the community, sorry, 20% of the player base are content creators, 80% of the player base are potentially going to be upset with the whole game if you only cater towards content creators. So there has to be a way in which you're able to appease each, and it's very difficult. Exactly. They need the money back. They do need the money back. So yes, I just wanted to raise that point, obviously, because I know Wolfie made a very good point in regards to how difficult it is. It is very much difficult. But I think we obviously heard yesterday as well that the question that most of the developers had behind BO6, which I can't wait to get into later because obviously we're still talking about it anyway, is why can't we do that? What's stopping us from doing that? Hence why we have this new thing that no one even thought of before the term was even used in omnidirectional movement. You know what I'm saying? So that already puts a question mark as to how am I going to do this, or what am I going to do here? I can't wait to hear more, but you kind of understand where things have been for such a long period of time, and now you see what sort of direction they're trying to go into. But you know, we've kind of, I won't say we've wandered off topic because it was quite a good conversation. But I did want to briefly just go over the rest of season 4 and where we're currently at. So we spoke about the car. It is what it is. They've done what they needed to do in terms of the nerf. It played like crazy when it first came in, and I think it's kind of found its balance somewhat. They introduced an SMG known as the Superi 46, and I'm just going to give a brief opinion on this. That is probably my favorite SMG this Call of Duty, and it's very close to being one of my favorite SMGs ever. Haven't seen it in a previous Call of Duty title before. It does have its flaws, just like any other gun will have its flaws, but it just runs so smooth. For me, it is, and I can't wait to see how y'all react to that one. But I'm being genuine. Over the MP5, no. KD.
See, when we start listing SMGs, it's gonna realize.
Yeah, you see, I did a tier list. Right, the MP5 is technically in a category of its own. Alright, so if I'm saying it's up there, so it's definitely in my top 5, maybe my top 10. But I really do like the Superi. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was looking at. Everyone in the chat's right. SMG's nice.
I might have
all-time top 5.
I might have done something crazy here. My fault, chat.
You might have spoken to no, but I understand why you're saying that, because one thing we've spoken about with these past CODs is like the the amount of iconic guns from these titles are like really dwindling. Like there's not really, everyone's always like, oh, what gun do you want to see back? And it got kind of hard to start saying that, like the further along of the titles we went, it's like I don't know what guns we really want back. What even stood out? So I understand, because the Super really did actually, for me as well, stood out as that SMG from this title that I would want to see again. So I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, that. But
I know.
Don't forget what came before.
Listen, I'm not forgetting anything, but you know, for me, I think it's one of them ones where we've had it for a whole season. And mind you, we played through a whole Call of Duty where I played with the Bass P, I've played with the Vel 46, I've played with the Lachman sub. Like these are all guns that for me, I didn't like last year, but I bared with last year.
They're all variants,
right?
OG weapons,
right? But they just didn't hit. They just don't hit.
Worse variants.
Lachman sub is the MP5. They just kind of turned it into like a B-Tech version of it.
There you go. So like,
they don't want to copy it, but they still want to emulate it.
Yeah.
They literally said, listen. Look at my work, but don't make it look bait in it.
Yeah, no time for no plagiarism. You get it? Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, change that shit real quick. I mean, you can make it sound the same, you can make it play the same, but you can't use the same name. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but like genuinely speaking, like none of those guns played to my, like, not even just my expectation, but it just wasn't. Okay, I need to chill. But y'all just saw what I saw in it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, cool.
Rated by the famous Becky G. We might have to leave that in the YouTube vid. I can't lie.
So we got quite an interesting dynamic in here. Becky, thank you so much for the raid. I really do appreciate it. Guys, if you're not familiar with the Too Good Nation, you're familiar right now. No. It is perfect. This is perfect. Becky hits us with, we don't say hello. Wow. Really? Nah, I don't know Becky to do that still. Becky's sweet still. Don't watch that. Welcome in everybody. Obviously, we're live, we're direct, we're in a podcast right now. We're more than welcome to have you guys in here. Let us know your opinions somewhat. Appreciate the follows and anything else that you guys have over here. I hope the stream was really good, Becky. Appreciate you. Your camera look HD. Hey man, this camera's currently on sale on Prime Day. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself a nice Sony camera. You know what I'm saying? Good lighting. I feel.
Have you learned nothing?
The
free promo. It's insane.
Oops. Yeah.
That's fine. You're passionate.
You know what I'm saying? How much? 600. It's 600 with the kit lens. I see the feel light. Hey, listen, man, we doing our thing for you know what I'm saying? I learned from the best, you know what I'm saying? But yes, sir. We are currently live, just going through the it actually literally is 600. The sound loop, my fault. Y'all need to invest. Like, if you guys are content creators, streamers, and you're looking for a high quality camera, this camera is currently selling for 600 between today and tomorrow. But yeah, I hope you guys, invest if you are content creators and give it a good look. But anyway, before I have a loss of thought, because I know we were going with this in regards to the Superi.
Yeah, we are doing a live podcast episode, guys. So yes, we are taking questions from the chat as we go along, but we're not as interactive as we like to be. Because this is for YouTube as well. But yeah, man, get involved. Got some good topics coming up.
Right. So as I was saying, with the SMGs, obviously look, like, I feel like Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 really left a dark, like a bad taste, a bad feeling around the guns. I feel like me being able to kind of play to my strengths this year with the SMG lineup that they've had, like, it's great to play with the Striker 9, the WSP 9, the WSP Swarm. Like, there were quite a few variant options that I thought, were perfect for the player base. And I think the Superi came at a time where a lot of people would have been bored of previous metas, just such as the Striker 9, etc. And look, I think it took the whole scene by storm in terms of how good it was. There are so many different builds you can make with it, just like any other class. But for me, like, I'm sorry, hands down, the best SMG they've put in the game this year. And honestly, I can't wait to see what they have planned for seasons following. But look, if they've got good guns now, what do you think the guns that deep this year? There are guns that have never been in a Call of Duty title before.
Dropping. Are we segueing?
I can't lie.
I can't.
Anyway.
We were to be saving BO6 talk for.
I can't help it. We're all excited.
I feel like we just want to. Are we segueing in it? Like,
All right. So I think what we're gonna do here. Right. I'm gonna close off on season 4 because there weren't too many more additions beyond maybe like the Mobile Suit Gundam collab that they had for season 4, which I think was absolutely brilliant. The camos and the camos for the gun, if you completed the challenges, as well as the operators, were stupid. Like if I see a fucking, like an operator wearing one of the like mobile suits, I instantly want to kill somebody because I know that they're trolls. Like I know they're trolls. I know it. I've seen it. I've lived it. But yes, in game. But yeah, man, it's just been a good feeling to kind of have something different that we've never seen in a Call of Duty franchise before kind of make its way in there. And then obviously we had Warzone challenges, like that were specific towards like it doesn't end at any time. Like you have camos that are rewarded for each thing you kind of complete. I'm not sure what the parameters were, etc. But there is the Royal Helix camo that I think a lot of people have been grinding. We saw the return of Obsidian in season 4. So if you did like, it's per gun. So if you had like 200,000 XP earned on a gun, you got an Obsidian camo and it's animated this time round. Who knew that was going to happen? But great additions again from Warzone, and from Call of Duty. And then obviously zombies, which they've not so much like gone into too much depth with pretty much since maybe season 3. They've added a few things here. However, I think the biggest thing for me, we've already spoken about it, which was pretty much the car. I know they've spoken about Reloaded and kind of the things that they were trying to introduce at that point. Look, I think the only things we can really talk about Reloaded simply are the Reclaimer 18, which, to be honest, I thought the Spas 12 would do a lot more than what it's been able to do. That is not in any way me saying that they must improve the gun, by the way. I do not want any shotgun being overpowered for the rest of Call of Duty. Right? However,
is it too much to ask that shotguns should stop being made?
Yeah, I think it is.
Is that too much?
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know it's fun to run around with a shotgun, guys. Come on.
I mean, Piggy, look at it this way. You're a content creator, right?
Running around with a shotgun's a vibe.
You're a content creator, right?
I can't admit that on the internet. People clip.
Okay, but
I'll message you separately.
I'm dead. Get the riot shield out of here. That's something I can agree with. That one there, I can agree with that one.
That I can get behind still. Yeah.
So then they decide to bring alongside of it. By the way, if anybody in here, including you two, right, has been hit by a sledgehammer, I need you to uninstall the game right now.
I haven't personally. Could never be me.
By the sledgehammer
Has anybody?
Never be me.
Nah, because you see,
skill issue. You can't lie.
Skill issue.
Yeah, the fire ammo and shotguns definitely need to go. That's something I can completely agree with.
Yes.
Having a brief look at the season 4 Reloaded map, I think I have it here somewhere. Give me 2 seconds. Yes, yeah, lovely. Cool. Yeah. Hold on a sec. Oh, that is zoomed into us. Jesus.
Someone said I've been slapped in the face with the execution.
Hey.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Have you been covered audio? No, that isn't something that's an immediate. Okay, so here's my thing, right? With the audio, let me put it this way: if you haven't gone to see somebody that optimizes audio, or you're not too tech savvy and you've had to go through Artist War, if you don't have any of those things and you're just using a plain headset, I'm sorry, but you've been played.
Like me.
You've been played. All right. They do need to work on audio. That's a given. I think that's a given for this MW3 title as a whole. It doesn't matter whether you play Warzone or if you play multiplayer. I think the audio this year genuinely has been below par. We're hoping they fix it. I don't think they fix it this title, so we're just gonna have to look forward to BO6. And I'm not paying another £100 for another improve another headset. I'm sticking with IEMs for the foreseeable future. By the way, if you guys are looking for IEMs,
I need to get some.
I got you.
But if you have to
this man is a walking billboard
in Asia to compensate for the audio, then I think it's more to do with them having bad audio than us trying to sort out
Appreciate it, bits.
to hear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for you.
Did I say that right?
Yeah. Nah, but
because you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to do that. Okay, yeah, adjust your settings to hear like in-game footsteps and stuff, but to have to change like your whole headset.
That's crazy.
That's it. That's crazy. Like
I will say
something's on their end. Is
with all this hype, there are two things I want to hear. I want to hear at some point between now and the release of BO6.
Yep.
I want to hear two buzzwords: audio.
Yep.
And cheaters.
Do you know what's funny?
Anti-cheat.
If you know Piggy, you know she is so adamant on audio. Like I remember there was a
at Red Bull. Oh my god! Yeah, listen, the day she ranted.
Oh, don't forget that, you know.
The day she ranted, they fixed the audio.
They did actually.
That was off.
They released an update saying, "Oh, we're fixing the audio."
Yeah, literally. I've never seen her that angry.
I'm not ranting again, but nothing matters if you can't hear. Like nothing. All the best parts of your game become terrible if I can't hear. Like. You could be the best player in the world if everyone's got dead silence without needing dead silence. The game is chalked. It's chalked.
Man said it's Tuesday. Let's run. Okay,
please.
Just fix it. Honestly, I think that's.
I can hear my whole team that just spawned behind me, but a man is literally on my neck.
I think the one that does it for me, I'll speak from personal experience, but the one that does it for me is when I can't hear a guy flying in above me. Like there is no audio of a parachute. Like forget about a guy creeping around the corner. Like fair enough, you got me. But you see, when you're flying in and I should be able to hear it. Man said I hear the footsteps touch the ground and then I'm dead because I've turned around in a space of time that I haven't heard the parachute. Like, can we make it make sense, please?
And that's where the realism kind of fails because the parachute should be the loudest. Apart from the footsteps, it should be the loudest thing in the game. Yeah, because like you got the wind blowing against it, you can hear that shit. Even when someone's landing on the ground, you hear the chute like closing. Like you should hear that loud, clear. Do you know?
Bro.
But you only hear that in the last like millisecond.
Do you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
Do some crazy 180.
No. But this is what's even crazier. You have to pay $250 for a headset just to be able to hear that. I should be able to put any pair of headphones into my PC, into my console, whatever, to be able to hear a lot earlier and a lot clearer than what they offer. Right?
If the audio is not fixed, they need to send everybody that bought the game a pair of Astros.
No, Astros are ass though.
The best Astro. Whatever the best headset is.
That I can include the best headset. But Astros, if you're using Astros and you're in this chat, hey man, if you can't hear nothing, I'm sorry, you got played.
That's their fault. I don't care what brand it is, but you gotta send everybody the best pair of headphones that you got.
I agree. With
their game. Put it through my letterbox. Because I'm not spending no more money on trying to hear people.
Yep.
I'm not doing it.
Moving on swiftly because technically speaking, season 4 Reloaded dropped on the 26th, which is about maybe 20 days ago. Like I said, they brought in a Reclaimer 18 and a Sledgehammer. Like I said, if you got hit by that, uninstall. But they added a new camo. They added 2 new maps to multiplayer. And they added a couple of public events on Big Map, which obviously we hadn't seen any updates for Big Map pretty much since season 2 because they haven't really been focusing on that. I know they dropped season 3 or season 2. They dropped Ranked Resurgence, and that's been their kind of pedestal, like almost like their operational mode for the time being. So obviously seeing the sort of changes they were trying to make, I don't think it was significant enough to kind of warrant any high praise for Big Map because again, it hasn't really been their focus. But the lack of POIs and just the lack of attention to detail with Big Map is, you know, it's I wouldn't say borderline worrying because obviously I know what they've been focusing on, but considering that's where the majority of your player base, especially from a competitive perspective, are actually playing at the moment, not releasing a big map ranked mode, and also not being able to cater towards your competitive players outside of Resurgence ranked kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I
think it is worrying.
Yeah.
Now I think it's worrying.
Yeah,
when we all thought that Verdansk was coming season 1, you know, straight away, basically with BO6, wasn't worrying. Now that they have announced that URZIKSTAN is going to be the Warzone map for the foreseeable future until they're ready to release Verdansk, I'm now worried. Yeah, I'm actually worried now. Like, a lot of people have stopped playing Big Map. because of the lack of updates and the reluctancy to make it the ranked game mode. So now with a new game coming out, you want people to go back to a map that I can't lie, the last few months have left a very bad taste in people's mouths. It's a little bit worrying. I can't lie. They gotta do something quick. Like season 5 has to be like basically a big map season. I need to see basically 5 months worth of updates in one season for me to not be worried about that anymore.
I'm just slowly anticipating the bunny hop because they did say they were going to bring that back. So that's when I'm coming back to Warzone. Or
wait. Can I just hear that? Can I just get you to reiterate that one point? You said that again?
What, Warren?
Yeah.
What, that they were going to bring back bunny hop?
No, you said you were going to come back when?
Season 5. Okay.
Because I was worried. I didn't hear because obviously I had something going in the background. But I was here thinking that you were going to say, I'm not back till VERDANSK is back. Which is that's an answer for quite a few of you.
Do you know what it is? VERDANSK is not giving that nostalgic vibe that everyone else is getting. Like, of course, I'm excited about VERDANSK returning, but it's not giving me the hype that makes me want to go and purchase a game, for example. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, like GTA 6, for example, that instantaneously the trailer alone made me want to cop the game. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not. There's no hype. The VERDANSK hype is not the same anymore. Like the PR, its stocks, it's not the same. Like the stocks are just not there anymore for me. I'm not invested. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. I think obviously look, they recently announced that it's not going to be out at launch.
It's a new map.
I know they're actually going to continue with URZIKSTAN. So there is I think that's I guess it's their final window. I don't think that's like another window. That's their only window of opportunity to make this map great. I don't think it's a terrible map. I think there's just been a lack of interest. I think it's been a lack of development. And I honestly feel like last year, as bad as the game was, Al Mazrah played so much better than URZIKSTAN. But I don't think it took a lot of effort for them to make it better. Do you understand? I feel like if they even put an ounce of effort into URZIKSTAN, make better POIs, allow people to kind of have something to look forward to on update day, just do something.
Do you know what? Excuse me for being naive here, yeah?
Yep.
But VERDANSK, right? They basically had the multiplayer maps in one map, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Basically. Why can't they just do that with Black Ops 6? Or like put the multiplayer maps in one map?
Well,
we don't know what's going to happen.
I was going to mention something. I think the only way for Call of Duty to really like solidify itself as a good BR at this point amongst in the entire ecosystem of BRs is in my opinion, you update the hell out of URZIKSTAN for the next couple of months and the first like period of BO6.
Yep.
You drop VERDANSK, but very, very soon after you drop a brand new Warzone map alongside VERDANSK.
I think there's talk.
Put your everything into that and try and make that the new face of Warzone. Because I'm not gonna lie, VERDANSK being the face of Warzone is not a
not a good idea.
No, it's not. That is a nostalgic map. That is just to please us because we haven't had the best maps.
See, we know
something new.
We know we reference Copium quite a lot, right? Like there's that element of having to like sit here and just hope. And then as soon as we know something we're familiar with is returning, it's like, oh yeah, great, coping mechanism. Great. We don't have to worry about nothing, right? But from what I understand and some of the stuff that's been leaked, I know Swag spoke about this in his most recent upload, having obviously played BO6 early. There are 2 new maps coming. So there is going to be an actual BO6 map for Big Map. Like there's going to be a completely new map, and I believe they're calling it Avalon. And then there's going to be a new Resurgence map called Area 99. That was announced earlier on in the year. And it seems to me that those 2 they do not have any involvement in terms of VERDANSK. So it's almost like saying, right, you have this year, you had URZIKSTAN, you had Vondel from last year, you had Ashika. They brought back Fortune's Keep and they brought back Rebirth Island. So in my head, it's like, okay, them bringing back VERDANSK back is almost like bringing back a Rebirth Island. They aren't going to do too much different to it. They may not. They may need this gap of a time to kind of work on it to make sure it works and performs as intended. So releasing and focusing on the 2 newer maps is where they have to hit the ground running, because
I think they can do it.
They can. 100% they can.
Call this a hot take. I don't know if anyone agrees yet, but in my opinion, bar VERDANSK, Blackout is still the best BR map that Call of Duty has ever created.
Boy.
Since they started BR.
Blackout
is still the best map.
Boy.
Bar VERDANSK.
Boy.
What was that? A Treyarch game.
What I'm gonna say,
So if they're gonna make another one that is going to be the best BR map we've had, it has to be in BO6, and it has to be a brand new map.
What I'm gonna say, is from when oh no, we shared that opinion. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. You see, the only issue that Blackout had was a paywall. You had to, you know what I mean? It wasn't free to play. Yeah,
because you had to buy it. Yeah, right? You had to buy it.
Now, if I look at it now, right? If I'm like a majority of the people that have obviously said, you know what, I've had enough, let me go play on a few other games, and someone offered me Blackout now, right? Pending it was on PC and there was an active player base playing it on a regular basis, I'm playing it. Look, Joe Woe literally dropped a video yesterday playing Blackout for like 12 hours with his guys yesterday. That is literally one of the pioneers of BO4 going back to play Blackout. The map was insane. Just everything about Blackout was just, oh man.
I wish I played it.
It was ahead of its time. It was literally.
It was.
It came out too soon.
It came too soon, bro.
The BR meta, that people just weren't. They didn't appreciate it. And I think Blackout with today's player base, because obviously they wouldn't make it the same. All I'm gonna say is Blackout with buy stations and loadouts.
Ooh. No. But hear me out. This is another hot take. I don't even think they need the loadouts. That's how good.
I personally don't want loadouts, but I'm thinking about the overall player base and how much a lot of them annoy me. But me personally, I want to put loadouts.
I wouldn't even put loadouts.
I think they are ridiculous, and I miss looting my attachments on the ground.
That's something I enjoyed.
To please everybody.
Yeah, you have to have loadouts.
Loadouts and buy stations. Blackout map.
Yeah.
Who is complaining?
No one. I don't think anyone's complaining.
Who is complaining?
Hey, listen.
Okay.
I know y'all are bringing back Verdansk, yeah. You know what? I think that's a conversation for like a year's time. I don't think we can do that right now. You know what I'm saying? But remember, we spoke about it briefly in this episode. You understand?
Yes.
But no, look, like I think it's very clear that, you know, with season 4 Reloaded and going into season 5, which is going to be the 25th. I think it's the 25th of July. They just need to keep the ball rolling. They need to do more. They need to do, bro. If you could pull a magic, like a hat and a few magic tricks, make a couple bunnies pop out. Listen, that's something. That's something. I'm not trying to hear. You know what? Let's add this new camo, and that's all the content we get. Surely we've learned something, right? And that's not to say that the camos aren't cool. The camos you put out, especially this new Get Higher one, by the way.
Yeah, they're going well.
Like, hats off to you guys. The camos and skins have been spectacular, and that's something that I haven't seen them do since Cold War. Like, we speak about how good Cold War has actually been to the franchise, especially with the DLCs and all of the stuff you could get in store. And a lot of people are crying out and really annoyed with Vanguard, really annoyed with MW2 because they did nothing. They literally gave us, like, imagine putting a very good looking MP7, right, on the thing, I think on the store for like 2,800, and it is just grey. Like, there's nothing spectacular about it. You're just giving me a plain grey MP7, like not even an MP7, a Vel 46. Like, and then you come to the Striker 9, and you're giving me like something is reminiscent for me of BO3, but like you have like an ice cube looking like Striker 9. Like, do you know how cold it is to have some? I think cold. I didn't mean pun intended, but do you know how cold that actually looks, bro? Like, there's method to your madness. Stick with it. Do you get it? But at the same time, please try and give us something even newer. Like, give us something that we can talk about, not even just for years to come, but I want to be able to talk about MW3 like I speak about BO3 or BO2, you know? But yeah, that kind of wraps up the review. I think if I had to review, I think it's safe to say that I'm probably the only person that can review it, considering I played from start to finish. If I had to review season 4 as a whole out of 5, I'm probably going to give it a 3.5. I think where they did well, I can't, there's no room for me to kind of shit on them for. The nerfs took a bit too long. I have one big pet peeve, and that is playlists and their rotations. There is a huge, and I say huge because too good is huge, no matter what you guys want to say. I'm not minute, I'm not small, right? I am huge player base.
I'm gonna take that out of context.
Okay, and that's fine. But Vondel not getting the love it deserves. I know I'm not the only one that shares this, because there are quite a few Vondel haters. There are quite a few people that, you know, like Fortune's Keep. I don't mind it, right? But my biggest problem is that you take it out of rotations and then you bring it back into rotations with terrible playlists. We had a week period where there was no trios. Now we have a week period that there's no quads.
No quads, yeah. And listen, we got tournament hosts. Shout out Miss Shaw. We got tournament hosts dying out here because they can't host the 2v2s.
Amen.
Because you ain't got no quads.
Amen.
Please.
Listen, if you're going to learn if there's one thing that I'm not asking you to make it a priority, but just slightly behind that priority, please just make the playlist fun. Like, if you're going to give us trios and quads, if you want to have rebirth quads, great. If you want to have big map quads, great. Just give us quads for both maps, please.
Yeah, man.
Like, if you want to do rotation, go ahead. Do it with duos and solos. I don't think that player base mind what they play on, but trios, when you have more than more than 2 people, quads when you have more than 3 people, please just give us variety. That helps a long way.
A staple, in my opinion. Like, it should just always be there. Like, if you're gonna rotate the play, just keep it around like quads, or like rotate it around quads, because majority of people are gonna be playing in squads of 4, and because it's even numbers as well. Like, it's just awkward to play in a 3 when you know you're sitting in like a party of like 4 or 5. Like, it's just like, now we got to split up.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. I don't know if there's restrictions because they have so many damn maps and so many modes that I don't know if they physically cannot have.
They need to communicate that with us.
Trios and quads. They need to communicate it if they can't. Other than that, I don't know any reason why you wouldn't.
Yeah, I think honestly, I don't think it's a. I think it's a conversation that a lot of us, I say a lot of us as creators, but a lot of us as content creators have tried to have, but hasn't seemed to have been I guess an urgent enough topic to kind of discuss. So I'm hoping, you know, somebody in here knows somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Who knows somebody, you
know, for real. Like, let the message be known. We want to know why they can't have both fundamentally working simultaneously. I think there's a possibility to do something wonderful there. But that kind of closes off what we have in terms of the season 4 review. Obviously, like I said, it's a 3.5 out of 5. I don't think that's a terrible rating. It's not the best rating it could have got, but listen, onwards and upwards.
There's good and bad. There's good and bad. It's not like you was just down bad terribly. Like,
no. I've had fun.
This season was probably better than like Modern Warfare 2's best season. So like,
I think any season's better than that.
Yeah,
I haven't even played it, but I can just see from just gameplay.
I've only been watching, but it's people are still grinding the game. Like,
exactly.
They did all right. They did okay. Not the most memorable
still
season,
PR hunting. What Dilsy's going for? Was it 40, 50?
He's going for a 60.
60, that's it. Yeah, see, there you go. See, there's still people grinding out the game. Like, if it wasn't that good, you wouldn't catch people like him or other gamers still trying to grind out PRs and stuff. So there's still the fun element side of it.
Yeah.
So it's still a W here on, like.
Yeah. Not for you.
Some tweaking.
No, for sure.
Need some tweaking.
But we're moving away from season 4, and I believe we're diverting towards World Series, because as we all know, qualification is over, and we have our teams. We have our teams now.
We actually have some graphics. Can I send this to you?
I mean, you can. Although I am looking at the result tracker.
You got it already? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what you got.
This does. I have to scroll down to obviously see everything, but that's 1 through 50, and I don't think we necessarily need the whole 1 through 50. I think it's just, you know, the
ones advanced into global finals. I mean, I got the NA one and I got the EMEA, but I don't know if there's. I think I'm missing.
Send me what you have. We can make it work.
Yeah, I just sent 2. It's top 12. EMEA and what's the
What's
other region? Is it APAC?
Latin America, LATAM.
Yeah, APAC. Yeah. I don't have.
Have they announced season 5? Yep, season 5 will be on the 25th of July. So 24th. In about 9 days. Oh, 24th? Wednesday next week. Let me just have a look real quick. Give me 2 seconds. I want to see if I've got this graphic here.
I'd go anywhere in the UK or Europe for what season wasn't. It hasn't been officially announced, but I have been seeing a location floating.
Yep. We might as well. We might as well.
Much stock.
I don't want to put. Do you know what it is though? Yeah, I don't want to put my man under a hot seat because if it doesn't nub in that spot, he could get a lot of heat for having tweeting it.
That's his fault though. Then again though, he tweeted it, so that's his problem. Low key.
I have a lot of love for Rafi, bro. I hear it though. Yeah, no, the rumors are that it is in London and it will happen the weekend of September the 12th. Tickets obviously haven't been released because of the date hasn't been released because of venue hasn't been released. So we're just going off of allegedly we're going off of rumors and rumors alone. Don't kill us. We just, you know what I mean? We just like everybody else. We have a profile on X and we go by what we see. Obviously, this isn't like a unreliable person. This is somebody that has a group competing in World Series. They have an org competing, so I think it kind of makes sense to an extent. But yes, should we look at NA side of things before we go into EMEA?
Yeah, let's
I think we all got a graphic anyway. So we're looking at, oh, by the way, this point differential is blowing my mind. But
almost a 40-point.
We're looking at the teams advancing to globals, and I feel like if you hadn't watched what transpired, because I wasn't even at home when I watched this, I was on my mobile phone, I was on a train journey to go and have a my back scanned basically. Anyway, it took a lot of attention away from the pain, right? But I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Almost a 40-point differential from first to second. I know we've spoken about how much. Okay, let's talk about how unfair this team is. It's one thing to be unfair. It's one thing to be unfair, but it's also another thing to be consistent. And they've been consistent all the way through. I'm not even talking about just the qualification. I'm talking about pretty much since
10K,
anything that they
scrims,
anything they put their hands on. We're talking about even the pulse check, like the pulse check tourneys. They won 4 games in a row. Nobody could. That's like prime Roger Federer or prime Rafael Nadal or Djokovic, right? Untouchable. Are you kidding me? Like straight sets. See you later, bro. I've won my Wimbledon trophy type shit. Like, are you? That is stupid, bro. Like, and we know how individually talented these players are, but seeing them being formed as a team, like, it's scary sights for anybody trying to challenge.
You watch this anime here, yeah?
Go on.
I might lose some people if you don't watch it, but you see Beyblade, yeah?
Yep.
You see the Blade Breakers.
Yep.
By G Revolution, they had to do a season where they split up because them man were OP.
Yep.
And they could not enter a tournament together or else they would win everything.
Yep.
So they gave us a whole season where all 4 of them went to different teams and it was the best season ever.
Yep.
That's what I want to see. I need this OP I need Biffle to leave. I need Hisoka to leave. I need Shifty to leave. I make 3 teams of different people. And I want to see who's on top. That shit would be insane. But this is the Biffle, Hisoka, and Shifty World Series of Warzone League. And everyone else is just there for participation trophy. That's insane. All these other teams, I'm looking at them. How did you let that happen?
Do you know what though? I feel like obviously if you look at the differences from last year, because last year there was an ability to have people from different areas in the world, whereas this time you were region locked, so you had to actually play with people within your region. Now, for instance, I know that Jowo and I think it was Jowo, Breadman, and Visions that played last year. I want to believe it was Visions. I might be looking at some. No, Visions played with Jukies and Lennon. That's what I remember. Visions played with Jukies and Lennon. Visions is from France. So So of course it's Europe, but the region lock this year was specifically, I believe, England, or like you had to play France, or you had to play with Germany, or you had that. It was like we're playing World Cup or Euros type shit, right? So seeing how that's kind of transpired, it's very difficult to now have such a strong team with those kind of limitations. I think that's one way to look at it. But even still, it's more so for me, like, it's one thing to kind of be dubbed as unfair. Like, I know Rico's saying in chat that everyone wants to be the best. We're seeing it. So why would we want it to stop? There's an element to which I feel these three are like the 3 pieces of, like 3 out of 5 pieces of the Infinity Stone. And the 2 other pieces are controlled by them anyway. Right?
Yeah.
They might as well have the gauntlet at the yard and they just, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, it is quite tough to compete against a team where all 3 are top fraggers. Like we've seen.
You have literally 2 of the best 3 players in Warzone on the same team.
I genuinely think you have the 3. No, you actually have 3 of the best.
The thing is, you could argue it, but I'm not 100% sold on Wsow by himself. The only way you would really know this is if they all split up and made their own team and still got top 3. That's how you would fully know.
I think. Go on.
I'm not fully convinced that it might be the top 3, but I feel like you could argue somebody else from a different team as being in that top 3 as well, in my opinion, in the right ecosystem. My
only arguments for this would be Sage, because obviously he's a former world champion. He's played with both Biffle, Shifty, and Hisoka. And then Adrian, who for me was the best newcomer of the previous Warzone champs. So there's those are the only arguments I have for that. But even to that extent, obviously, when looking at some of the stats that have been kind of recovered from the last year, I can argue with Hisoga's points alone in the last World Series, he was more or less second best player. It's arguable to say that he was better than Biffle last year. Shifty having been through hell and back with accusations left, right, and center, wasn't allowed to compete in Twitter tourneys because of these accusations, and we're going as far back as Caldera, having to prove himself and now be regarded as, if not the best player on the team. Like, that's not an argument. I think obviously when I look, like, the only thing I can say, and obviously Sage is a homie, Sage has had other stuff going on, and he's still being able to compete at the highest level.
And he's not on a super team.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying.
You could swap out Hisoka, and I think they still have the same level of success with a Sage, with an Adrian. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not.
You're not completely convinced.
I don't know if they're still.
I don't know. I don't know. That's the point. I don't know. It goes from 100% to. I mean, okay, so I think it's different. I think it's different for each player, because obviously with Shifty, we've seen it. With Biffle, we haven't seen it, because obviously with Shifty, he was with Hisoka last year before they split, before grand finals. And then Sage has obviously, I mean, look, he's 6th and he's playing with Adrian and Swag. And with all due respects to Papa Swag, like,
sorry,
you know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Sage and Adrian alone for me are a top four team alone, right? Having Swag there, I think, you know, it kind of shows how good of a team they have to be in order for them to get that far.
Yeah.
Right. I think because I've seen Hisoka play with, I think he played with Mayapo and. Oh, give me a second. I'm trying to remember who he played with last year. It was Mayapo and Foreign Jace. I think he played with Foreign Jace and Mayapo last year. Right? And they finished 2nd. So that's why I look at it and think, if Hisoka's in a super team now and they're performing like this, but with Mayapo, who I'm not seeing on the list at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think.
Right? I don't even see. I see Jace is playing with Joe and Breadman this year.
Yeah.
Right? I think Hisoka has to be considered top 3. I don't think he gets out of that top 3 conversation just because of who he played with last year and how consistent he's been able to play this year with said people.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to play style as well. Like, we know individually all these players are like cracked out and
broken. They're broken. They're a meta themselves.
If we actually look at Biffle, like the squad of Biffle and that, Biffle's not the slayer of his squad, you know, he anchors. So Soka and
which is not familiar territory.
And then when they get put under pressure, that's when they bring out the bulldog, which is Biffle. It's like, okay, we're one shot, now go deal with Biffle. Yeah. Like literally he anchors the squad. Like if you actually watch how they play. So I don't think it's a case of like it's all about the name, it's the play style. Like, and we obviously know like these players that we're mentioning are like some of the best. They're some of the best in Warzone. But I solely believe, well, I truly believe it's to do with the playstyle. I think they picked up Soka because he could just slay out more than Sage. Yeah.
Okay.
And look at the success they're having. Like I'm seeing Soka like doing up trash talk like at LAN and stuff. So it just goes to show like there might have been some speculation or controversy that maybe was Soka the right fit for this squad and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Like
I don't know if that was ever a question.
World Series, he came last year. He came second, no?
Yeah.
In his squad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Soka has crazy game sense and game IQ
then
when it comes to playstyle. So the safest.
What I want to see though, just touching upon what Piggy said, is the fact that these best players split into a squad and make their own team, and let's see if they can still
that's
be amongst the
best.
That's
a transformation.
That's what I want to see.
But I highly doubt that will happen because everyone's comfortable in their squads. Like everyone's mad comfortable.
The thing is, for this, Warzone will continue, but in my opinion, viewership is everything. It is absolutely everything.
Dark times of Biffle. Sorry, I had to read that.
Sorry, I just saw that as well. Yeah, viewership is everything. So I feel like for the players, they don't have to do anything. If I'm Net, I'm not leaving. Let's be real. I'm not going. If I'm Biffle Zogo Shift, I'm not leaving my squad. So no one's saying that. Oh, it's so unfair that they should split. That's not the reasoning behind it. As a viewer, I know for a fact that Warzone will get way more viewership if they did split and made 3 separate teams. That's just me thinking about the progression of the esport, because nobody wants to watch a non-competitive esport. After a while, they're going to get sick of seeing the same 3 people win. That's not the player's problem. That's not for them to have to do something about it. I'm just saying from an outside perspective on what's going to make this thrive, that is what you need to happen at some point. Now, the only way that's going to happen is if these, and I've been wanting to say this for so long, I am sick and tired of these Warzone pros breaking up after a bad series or a bad week. You dance breaders. Like, you don't create coherence and synergy when you just change your roster every time you do badly. This is why there's a 40-point difference between first and second, because these men go on Twitter every single time. Oh, look, LFT, looking for another player. This didn't work out because you had one argument. You made me sick. Go to the CDL. Half the dynasties on the CDL argued every single month and still won. Because I feel like these men are just soft. I don't know what it is. It's just softness. Softness. You're not gonna win.
I usually don't see her go off this much. So this is definitely a heartfelt one. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, there is definitely, you know, method to what she's suggesting here, and also I think for me as well, like the argument that anyone else in the scene is gonna have. Let's say anyone else. If I speak specifically from Shifter, Hisoka, and Biffle's point of view, they are literally just gonna be like, well, everybody just needs to get better. And then here's the other thing, right? Yeah, right. So then this is how I think things can actually transpire, right? They don't split up, right? There is no future where they split up. However, it might be to the point where viewership will only significantly increase until new prodigies that haven't been able to compete thus far are then they're now of age and are capable to compete, and then we'll see whether they match up with the so-called, I want to call them Thanos as a group, because that's technically what they are.
They just need 3 other teams. We don't need we just need 3 other teams to match them. I mean, I have to keep talking about the CDL. The reason why the CDL is so popular is because people flipping love watching FaZe versus Optic versus Subliners versus Toronto Ultra. They've won a major. Each team has won a major this year. There's been a different winner each flipping year. Viewership is at its peak because everyone wants to see who's the best out of those 4 teams. Then you've got the other 8 teams, which they're all middle of the pack, but there's upset potential. You don't see the same people winning every series. That's what keeps your esport alive. In this, I'm not looking at Biffle, Hisoka, and Shifty to make a change. I'm looking at 2nd through 12th and 12th to 50th to get their ish together. Like, I
Sorry.
need the team to stay together for more than 3 months.
Sorry, I completely understand what you're saying, right? But I've just seen 2 messages that have thrown me off. Firstly, so you're saying that the problem is us. Yes, we are definitely the problem.
We are the problem. These people don't know how to make teams. They just find someone else who's like, we can talk all day about how Biffle, Wsow, and Shifty are like 3 of the most mechanically gifted players. But as Warren said, it's not their mechanical gifts that are getting them these wins. It's their synergy and being able to play roles.
We've spent a lot of time talking about those 3, right? But like, I actually want to give quite a few special mentions to quite a few people on this list, because a lot of people don't know of some of the players that are on here, and then there are a few like surprises, right? So for instance, Youngstars, Braxton and Juju, right? Now these guys are all signed with Omit. They are Omit. They are part of the Omit org, and Omit tend to do very well when it comes to qualifying for World Series. Youngstars, I've watched him even before I was a content creator, and it's definitely interesting to kind of see how he kind of stepped away from competitive, from Call of Duty completely to kind of focus on life. Comes back a year later, plays MW3, played a bit of MW2, said, nah, fuck this, I ain't playing this. Plays MW3 and completely frags. And it's not that he's just fragged on World Series, he's fragged in Twitter tourneys, he's fragged playing in qualification, he's pretty much fragged throughout the whole year. So kind of seeing that he's placed well enough, I know the 67-point differential from the higher ups, I want to focus on the teams that actually have competed, and it's quite disappointing to see some of the faces that we are normally used to seeing here not make it, but it's also good to see players that are very deserving of, you know, some spots within this this global finals. Sorry, I have been quite distracted because chat have actually been going absolutely crazy because we have a breaking news. we have some breaking news. So from what we understand, Charlie Intel has just tweeted that Superstore is getting added to URZIKSTAN.
Let me get that to you. What the
thank you Mo1K for alerting everybody in chat. Thank you very much.
24th season 5.
No, big up.
We asked for POIs and they gave it to us during the podcast.
I feel like Mo said it, but he just got ignored.
Hold on. Hold on. Wait. Guys. Guys. You're a piece of bread? No, that's crazy. Nah, but hear me out though. We said add more POIs in this podcast. They must be listening.
They're watching live.
They must be watching. Somebody in here said, you know what? Oh, you didn't know we had that switch? All right, hold on a second. We'll be right back.
Do you want the tweet? It's a video. It's a short one.
Please. Yeah, sure. Just drop me the link.
Where would they put it though? Where would they put Superstore in URZIKSTAN?
I can't lie. URZIKSTAN has space. That's what it has enough space.
Yeah, it does. They can find somewhere to put that.
Well, it's a big mall, so it has to be.
All I'm gonna say is, man, don't get caught lacking in Superstore because you might be put on TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
I'll put it in the Discord.
Alright, lovely. Give me a sec. Don't get caught lacking.
Video?
Yeah, it's 1 minute. 1 minute video. Season 5.
Nah, so Tino, don't do it like that, bro. Don't do it like that. You know what I meant, man? I'm not the. Wait, hold on. No, wait. I'm gonna be in America. I heard Superstore. Willsy's in chat. Yeah, we're back. No.
It's contradictory considering we said we'll speak about all the nostalgia and everything.
Guys.
Willsy's
Willsy's in chat, and he said I heard Superstore. I'm sorry, but whenever this guy comes back, we're back. If this guy popping out of nowhere,
he popped out like a Pokemon.
Nah, he popped out like a wild Pokemon. Like, what the hell?
But I said, I'm gonna get the opportunity to kill Aiden again. Let me run it back real quick. Alright, coolio. Alright, let's run it real quick. Alright.
Hi there. If you're watching this, then you've been hired at the new Atlas Superstore branch in beautiful URZIKSTAN. Follow these nuggets of wisdom, and you'll be employee of the match in no time. It's like our VERDANSK branch manager Kevin always says, the early operator gets the loot. When you arrive for your first shift, be prepared to slide to the next customer who needs your help. Wow, someone loves their job. Sometimes working here can feel like a full-on war zone. But don't panic. Calm operators win. If you can't answer a
it's
question,
next to fire
simply stall
station.
for time.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah, no, it's hot.
Quick
That is a
thinking.
very hot
The sky's
location
the
as
limit
well.
at Superstore. Burnout is the #1 reason
Wait.
operators leave.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me just finish. Let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Coffee.
I just realized something.
Feeling ready?
It's too loud. My fault.
Now get out there and
There's no
have a
sound.
super day.
There's no sound. They're trolling you.
Right, we're watching that one back.
You're right.
We're watching that one back.
You're getting trolled.
Yeah.
Bro.
You know what, Dilsey? I fucking love you, bro. Because everyone else. Okay, you know what? Rico said it. Ufi said, you know what? Okay, that's just me. Fair enough, man. I'm slow. Let's rewatch. But before we do, can we just take this into consideration, guys? This is going to be part of World Series.
Oh shit, yeah.
This Superstore drop is going to be World Series. W muted video though? Oh, okay, let me just press play, bro.
Yeah, I don't actually think of that. That's going
Hi
to change a
there.
lot.
If you're watching this, then you've been hired at the new Atlas Superstore branch in beautiful URZIKSTAN. Follow these nuggets of wisdom, and you'll be employee of the match in no time. It's like our VERDANSK branch manager.
He looks like Modern Warzone.
The early operator gets the loot. When you arrive for your first shift, be prepared
Can you
to
imagine if it
slide
actually
to the
is?
next
On Discord,
customer
I got you.
who needs your help. Wow.
Appreciate y'all.
Someone loves their job. Sometimes working here can feel like a full-on war zone.
Nah,
but don't
blood.
panic. Calm operators.
Nah,
win.
the roof
You
is
can't answer
different though.
questions, simply
They
stall
added
for
zips.
Yeah, no, so there's a hole in the roof now. You can jump down from
Quick
the roof.
thinking.
Before you
The
couldn't.
sky's the limit at Superstore. Burnout is the #1 reason operators leave. Find time for lunch
STG.
or coffee to clear your mind.
Oh yeah, no, the STG's coming back.
Feeling
I do think I
ready?
heard
Season
that.
5
I sure am.
I can't lie, I'm
Now
back.
Get
If
out
you wanna
there and
accompany-
have
if you wanna
a
accompany
super
me.
day.
on the return.
Okay. All right. So we've seen this, right?
We vote.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. Hearing the STG's back, obviously you don't know where I put that in my tier list. To hear that it's back, and me and Piggy have been speaking for a while now when it comes to ARs being added because there aren't enough viable ones. They finally got the MCW in somewhat of a good space right now, but an STG being added is monumental.
Yeah,
I
but
ain't
do
gonna
you
lie.
know what my problem is? Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna be that person. You know how they say, "Oh, you're full at the parties," but STG is not a modern warfare weapon. I'm sorry.
It doesn't have to be though. The BAL 27 was an
It's
advanced
to do
warfare.
with the lore and everything, though. That's how I see it. Like,
Yeah.
through my lens, like if you're gonna release a modern warfare game, it's got to be modern weapons. If you're gonna release like a Black Ops, it's gonna be like all.
But this isn't a conventional MW. This was never going to be a conventional MW. You got to remember that when MW2 dropped,
STG is.
I hear it, but you've also got to look at it from perspective where this MW3 was never supposed to be, like, people were talking about it being a DLC, right? Now, last year we were speaking about having high rise and all this other stuff on the map, and they never released it during the Warzone 2 or MW2 life cycle. They released it this year. So all of the stuff that we've seen added to this game, the Reclaimer 18's a SPAS 12 gun. Yes, it's from MW2, but how many guns from original MW2 are on MW2? Not too many, right? Then you have the Striker and the Striker 9. We didn't have both in MW2. We only had one of them in MW2. All right. Now, when you look at the BAL 27 being brought in from AW, you had the Moors from AW. Like, then it was never supposed to be a conventional MW3 game. None of the MW3 guns are on this game, from what I understand. I could be wrong, but from my recollection, I don't think there's even one. Right? Make TAC 56 meta, not in this lifetime, buddy. So the point I'm trying to make is them adding the STG isn't a bad thing. I think if you're going to carry on with how you've been able to bring back somewhat fan favorite weapons across the life cycle, then
that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I'm more
No, I hear
to
what
do
you're
with
saying,
like
though.
the lore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know that STG is it's one of the First World War, Second World War. That's 19th century.
I get
weapons,
it.
do you know
I
what
do
mean?
get it.
So that's why I'm more leaning towards the lore rather than the fan favorite kind of thing. But I definitely see that side. I 100% see it. Like at the end of the day, STG used to be meta. Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody enjoyed that gun. So if they could still continue piling on the fun element as I've been going on in this podcast, then I'm for it. You know what I mean? I don't mind to complain.
The Growl, bring back the ground, call it the HRM 556. That's the HRM. Okay, I get the point. I actually think they're looking to try and reintroduce the Growl to an extent. I just don't know when it will happen. But But yeah, no, definitely an introduction.
We're seeing.
Do you know what? I think it could be more of like a DLC for the next iteration of Warzone. I'm not going to say nothing beyond that because obviously that they've spoken about it being in files. Anyway, we've been sent a couple of diagrams. Give me a second whilst I switch screens.
One thing about this, yeah.
Yep.
It's not to be a party pooper.
Yep.
Here we go.
Maybe I'm not fun of parties. But very calculated, like very, very calculated. We're not getting Verdansk until later on in BO6. So what do? They give us a POI from Verdansk and put in URZIKSTAN.
No, but can you remember when they did this in Caldera? And they brought back...
Let her cook, wait.
No, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Karen.
I don't think I can. I'm trying to think.
They brought back, what do you call it? No. Oh, crap. Chat, can anyone help me here? They brought back a POI. Storage town. Yes, they brought back storage town to Caldera.
Yeah.
It didn't really help. It didn't really help Caldera. I ain't gonna lie.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that in the sense of I didn't mind them making that decision. This is more of a. I don't know if this is as like a. I'm sorry that Verdansk is not dropping straight away.
Oh, this is definitely like, I'm sorry.
No, is it an I'm sorry or is it like a they won't mind. We'll just give them Superstore. Like,
do you know what? I think URZIKSTAN hasn't peaked yet.
What's the intention? Yeah, I do like that they're bringing it back. I'm happy with it personally. Like I want to land at Superstore, but it is a bit more of like a slap in the face where it's like, when you drop Verdansk, how much more am I gonna care? Because if you start giving me POIs from that map, when you do finally drop it, what's left for me to
I have a question.
Be excited about? Because now it's like I don't know. You might as well just merge it at this point. Don't give me Verdansk. Just give me some POIs and leave URZIKSTAN as the main map. Like I don't know what their goal is here. I don't know what it is anymore.
I have a quick question in response to that. So let's say between now and obviously launch of Verdansk, they give us 2 POIs of Verdansk. But let's say they also give us 2 POIs of Al Mazrah, and then they give us a couple of POIs from Blackout, and then a couple of POIs from Caldera. Now, I'm not saying it fixes everything, but it adds somewhat something that wasn't there, and they have the space to do it. Now,
you think they'll do that?
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. But in a world where they're able to kind of give us Superstore, which obviously anybody that played Verdansk will tell you how fun landing at Superstore can and can't be. They'll want to have other returning POIs. This can't just be the one that they bring back.
They might bring one more, but my whole thing is I don't want Superstore on this map. I want it on Verdansk. I'd rather wait.
It's still going to be there.
It's kind of lazy.
Give
me a new POI that is going to be a hot drop. Don't give me Superstore that we're getting anyway, and it's part of the reason why we're excited. Superstore is like one of the most iconic POIs for Verdansk. You're delaying Verdansk. Just let me have all of my favorite POIs back for the first time when you drop that map. Don't give me Superstore now. And then it's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna hit the same when I play it on Verdansk. I've been playing Superstore for the last 6 months or 3 months or whatever, or however long it's gonna be. Like, I don't know if I fuck with them putting that POI in there rather than just making a new one.
Okay.
And it's like a new hot drop. I'm not really buying it, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really buying it.
Fair enough. I mean, listen, there was a call for us to have a POI, a new POI. A new POI isn't what we got, but a POI is something we're given. Now, obviously, depending on how it plays and how much of a difference it makes, that remains to be seen. We'll obviously revisit this once we've landed on the 25th.
I think it will be good. I'm not gonna lie. I do. I'm not saying people won't enjoy it. This is actually very good for those that are playing big map. It's gonna be great for all series of Warzone. I'm just talking about overall picture here. I don't like this culture of giving us old stuff to silence us so we don't complain.
Do you know what's interesting?
What I don't like.
I think when you even look at because I know Charlie Intel tweeted it, and I know it was Bob Network that actually initially tweeted it about Verdansk not coming back until early 2025. I wasn't that upset. What I was more annoyed about was the fact of the lack of stuff they've done on the current map to now take us through till early 2025. What are the plans? Like, there was no talk of what plans they have for URZIKSTAN for me to not be, you know what I mean? For me not to be too upset. Me personally, They never update the map. I know. Look,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
agree,
But
right?
that now continues. That to me, it's not. Oh, they've updated the map. It means that this is still you refuse to actually update URZIKSTAN as a standalone map. You just place it up here where you have all the rendering for already, and you just propping it in the middle. Like you still haven't given me anything new. So like, as far as I'm concerned with them updating URZIKSTAN, my opinion has not changed on the fact that they need to add more to the map.
Agreed.
I'm not upset with this. I'm just like, it's not enough.
Not for you.
And if they're already moving in a direction where they're trying not to be lazy with things, don't go back to how it used to be. This is like Modern Warfare 2 antics. And before that, we're supposed to be on a new horizon now.
I'm not gonna lie.
Innovating and giving us new updates.
I've got another take on this, right? I've got another take on this. Big map ranked, I don't think it saves URZIKSTAN in its current state. I actually think if you play, like, it'll be fun for a period of time, but then you'll get annoyed that there's been no change to the map for the last 9 months. That's kind of how I view it. Or I think it's 7 months, give or take. But like, you have it, yeah, it makes it more skilled for sure. So there's an avenue to grind. But I feel like when URZIKSTAN, when Al Mazrah dropped with ranked, it didn't require that much change. It had weathering like stuff. I didn't like that, but I said fuck it. For people who grind ranked, grind comp, big map changes completely with ranked. I hear it. I just feel like it doesn't save it till VERDANSK drops in early 2025. I'm hoping that Avalon saves everything, to be completely honest. The new BO6 map, I hope it saves everything. Because if it doesn't, VERDANSK's not saving shit, and URZIKSTAN won't live long enough to save anything. That's how I look at it.
To be like a DLC that came early. I do not want that to be the face of BO6. I'll cry real tears.
It can't. No, I don't think they can do that. I don't think they'll do that.
I pray that they summon the spirits of Blackout and just feed it into this new map, because VERDANSK for me should be a secondary byproduct of, oh yeah, remember this map that was amazing? We still get to play it, but everyone should want to grind this new BR map. And if that is the case, I'm just saying from now, if that is going to be the case, then I don't mind it. That I don't mind what they're doing now. If they are not putting all their eggs in the VERDANSK basket, then stuff like this will therefore make sense. But don't do this to me and then put all your eggs in the VERDANSK basket and don't. And then that's what we play for the next. New BR map.
Yeah.
Can't have both.
Can't run that one. Can't run that.
Pick one.
Also, so I think just to even add on to that as well. Like, we don't want it to now be a thing where, like, we're talking 7 or 8 months from now, we're in VERDANSK, and they haven't at least experimented with the idea of doing one ranked. Of course, big map ranked makes sense, but a rotation of maps for big map ranked. I think where they've excelled this year to a degree was, and mind you, I hate Rebirth ranked. Like, when I say hate, there are not words that can explain how much I hate Rebirth ranked, right? Fortune's Keep ranked played very well, in my opinion, right? Soon as it moved to Rebirth, especially because it launched with Rebirth pubs simultaneously, it's like I just lost what it was to play Rebirth. Like, I went as far as saying, if they weren't going to put it, if they tried to put on Rebirth and it didn't work, have it in there for half a season, so wait till Reloaded, pull it out, and then maybe put in Vondel or another Resurgence map that suits the feeling of ranked, right? Now, we're talking big map now. URZIKSTAN can have a ranked. They should be able to rotate, if they can, through Avalon, and if they can, VERDANSK. I think, especially if they can do it over a period of time across the seasons before there is like a World Series where they also have to alternate between that rotation, that's when we can actually see who plays best on what map, where the skill gap can now be initiated amongst player base and whatnot. I think that would be a really good way to kind of define a different era for Warzone entirely, but also how differently teams have to set up in different environments. So, yep, I completely agree. They like adding a few things here and there from the other map. Like, look, it's lazy. But if it comes to the point where they've released it and then they add they throw a couple of spanners in the works, I'm not mad. I am not mad, but
Question.
give it longevity and make it make sense. Yes.
I have a question. Actually,
Okay,
you go first, Warren. You sure?
No, I was just gonna say, like,
There you go.
I feel like Piggy's little rant there justified, but a little harsh at the same time, because I feel like the devs want to spoon feed these little things to keep to keep the game fresh, but it doesn't necessarily keep the game fresh because it's old stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? We're just revisiting what we've played already. So yeah, I get the element of it being lazy, but I'd rather updates than no updates. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Big Map has had nothing to it. Do you know what I'm saying? So if they're gonna give us a Superstore, then so be it. Because from what I haven't played much Warzone, but for those that have, you tell me, like, has there been updates to the Big Map?
No.
So if they're gonna give us a Superstore, which is a fan favorite POI,
right?
So be it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I feel like Piggy, obviously, well within your right to have your opinion, but I just think it's slightly harsh.
I think to kind of
I didn't say like an update is needed. I would have just rathered something else. Like,
I think on the grander scheme of things, I don't think she's wrong, because like I said, like, we're crying out for an update, and I agree with some people in the chat saying that something's better than nothing. But like, with the time that's been had, and mind you that there's been hardly any communication with anything to do with Big Map, you'd like to hear, oh, okay, we want to add this, or we've tried to add this and it hasn't worked. Like the same way we ask for communication around certain aspects, they could have communicated better, because everyone was expecting Big Map ranked last season because they'd already done Resurgence ranked. And then we have a whole World Series, nothing. We're now finished with qualification, nothing. Like, yeah, like there's an element of communication I thought had to be had. They didn't do that. That's okay, well within their right, whatever. They're working on something else. Communicate that with us. They've already told us, I think towards the end of season 3, that Big Map ranked wasn't their focus, but it's something that's going to come out at a later point within this game's lifespan. So that I can agree with. That's fine, cool. But the lack of updates don't legislate with the lack of ranked. Ranked doesn't necessarily mean that there should be no updates. That's kind of how I look at it. So if you're going to do any POI changes, yeah, I completely agree.
I'm just looking at it from a perspective of, let's say, if they were dropping really hefty updates for Big Map for the past 3 seasons, I wouldn't mind this. But I'm looking at them like, what have you been doing? What have you been working on?
Yeah,
because we're not seeing it. This does not tell me this is not something to work on. This was easy as hell for you in comparison to what you've done. Giving us Superstore is not difficult. So what have you been doing? That's my question.
You know, and if we stop with it,
if we stop, the thing is, the reason why pubs is so amazing right now is because we kept holding them accountable to doing these same changes. We're remastering maps, we're dropping old maps, we're putting grass in non-grass areas, we're putting snow in the map now, and we didn't let them continue to do that without giving them a bit of feedback. Now they're dropping like 2-3 new maps every season. So if I gotta call them out a little bit and be like, hey, it's a little bit lazy, and if everybody else used to do it, for them to not do this anymore, then so be it. It's worked. That's why multiplayer is great again. It's like, but my question was gonna be, so you know how it's funny. You know how Warzone is taking a lot of inspiration from other games, Apex Legends, when it comes to World Series of Warzone, right? I started thinking about this, right? They seem to be wanting to make URZIKSTAN more of a staple, right? I don't think they're gonna get rid of it once VERDANSK is out and the other new map. So it begs the question: do you think there is a space in comp for rotational maps for competitive play? So 3 games on one map, 3 games on another map, and that is the way that they do their format.
I think there should be. I mean, obviously, I already raised the point.
Might hit.
The only reason why I think they can is because they're doing it with Rebirth, like rotating the map. So why not rotate in ranked? Like, I'm sure you guys could somehow fix the coding or whatever to just, implement it for Big Map. That's why I think they can do it, in terms of like the logistics side of things.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna put that much stock into URZIKSTAN, take it further. Don't just make it a pubs map.
I think where they missed the trick with Al-Mazrah was, like, you can't, like, and this is my argument, like, you can't have a good map like that. Obviously, you can have the bad mechanics. I understand, like, look, we hated it. That shit needs to burn in hell. But the one thing that doesn't need to burn in hell is the map. Like, the map was very well designed. It played very well for competitive, and you missed the trick by at least trying to keep it within a rotation. And maybe that wasn't their plan, right? Maybe that wasn't their plan from the get-go. It wasn't for them to use it in part of rotation, or maybe rotation wasn't an aspect in regards to their development for the next game. However, I think if we're looking at it from a competitive perspective, like multiplayer, I know it's obviously something completely different to BR, but multiplayer is determined on different map rotations. BR, we look at Apex, it's determined on somewhat different map rotations. So in the back of my mind, I am thinking it's like you're a Pokemon trainer, right? You have to adapt to every scenario, no matter what trainer. You're going to be sprung with a surprises. No Warzone player should have to be so comfortable that they only play on one map. Like I should see you struggle on map 2, or I'll not say struggle, but like I should see you have to grind or work hard towards getting your same place in your next map rotation. So
I think when we talk about skill gap and stuff like that, and we talk about how sporadic it is, and do you know what? We're gonna go back onto World Series of Warzone, talk about EMEA and stuff like that. Obviously, we had to segue because of all the breaking news.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think again, for the health of the esport, we can't just have the same type of format all the time. No. And I feel like the future of Warzone and World Series of Warzone and competitive Warzone is testing these players in different environments. Where if you have 2 different maps, your favorite team might not be your favorite team on a different map. They might not get the same POI that they normally get on a different map. They may not adjust as well to a different map. We're forgetting that, like, we are literally watching these same players play on something. Some people just might not gel with URZIKSTAN that well. Like,
listen,
they just might not be as good of a team on that particular map. It could be for a million different reasons. Put them on a different map, it might look like a different team.
We look no further than even VERDANSK and Caldera.
Right, good.
You know, people that thrived on VERDANSK did not necessarily do just as well on Caldera. People that thrived on Caldera didn't do as well on URZIKSTAN or even Al Mazrah. So I think it's one of them ones where I want to see who can dominate. Like I feel like if you're gonna be like, and it's a matter of undisputedly, no one can chat to you for that year. No one can chat to you about, oh, you were lucky on this, oh, your team was this good, etc., or you had the better players, etc. Like I don't have to hear any of that, because if you're able to consistently perform across all terrains, across all maps, you know what I mean? Like we're talking Roman Reigns here, like undisputed. You get it? Undisputed. That's what I want to see, bro. But yeah, man. So we like Piggy said earlier, we've kind of segued our way through all the way to this conversation without having to finish the actual the standout performers, and also like some of the stuff that has been going on with not just NA but also EMEA. Just to kind of cut down short, I did speak about Braxton, Youngsters and Juju. We obviously have my boy Mr. Joel, you know what I'm saying, I think he's coming back to London. I hope he comes back to London. But yeah, he qualified as well under some very extreme circumstances, might I add, because I don't know if you guys watched, but Breadman and Joel had to play underwater for a good 5 to 10 minutes on rotations. Appreciate you for the Ray Broski. But yeah, no, kind of long story short, my boy Sage as well. Congrats to them. We're gonna look at EMEA right now, and I'm not gonna lie, what you see in terms of the point differentials here, you're not gonna believe what you're gonna see on the next screen. Cause boy,
it was night and day, really.
It was,
actually night and flipping day.
Like EMEA, listen, man. This point differential, it could have gone. Yeah, exactly. Now, if you're looking,
what you want to be watching.
What I'm gonna say, is if we're looking at it from a competitive perspective and the pool of players that were used, look at this, right? The best team. Shout outs to Omit again. I believe King AJ is Omit. I don't know if VH Showstopper or Visions are, but I know that King AJ is definitely somebody that's known within the community. I know a man like Mayor and Louis CM, obviously, who also features on this list, did pretty well. But just seeing how they've actually performed, and if you even look at the teams close to them, it's not by that much. And this is where even the conversation we just had, like across 3 or 4 different maps would mean that you could see so much how fine the margins really can be. You know what I'm saying?
There's an 8-point difference from 2nd to 5th.
Yeah, exactly. That means, look,
What the hell?
0.4 difference between 3rd and 4th, bro. Like, what?
Do you know what's
crazy.
funny? To compare as well, yeah, the top just exclude first.
Wait, AJ left home, man.
Yeah. Second,
Interesting.
3rd, 4th for EMEA have done better than NA. Like, which obviously furthers the point about how competitive EU is.
That is a good point.
Wait, didn't they do Guild East? I think that's for the World Cup.
Hold on.
Yep.
Compare 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, even further down. They
EMEA perform better.
They
overall.
perform better.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah.
Like, look, I think the lowest
Apart from first.
the lowest point differential, I think it was 67 points in NA. The lowest here was 72.
Come on.
So it kind of just
Interesting.
furthers our point because there's people on the tier that have
Interesting.
been saying for the longest, like EU is like
EU
the most
is the worst.
competitive. Like there have been NA
That's what
players
people
like
say.
Swag who are a little, you know, like a little.
Yeah, no, I know, Shaw, but I think it was
in
because
the
he
sense
represented
that,
Guild Esports for sorry, Warren.
He's World Cup.
He represented Guild Esports World Cup. I'm saying, so the top players in NA clear EU definitely more competitive.
Simply.
Yeah, I mean that's not an argument. I don't think that's an argument.
Fogo and Shifty.
Yep.
It's just the
That's
players.
just to say.
We just don't know, like,
I think
players because they're not as established as the other creators. In
I
the
think
game.
it's actually even
Which is why
interesting
we need to shed more light on them, so
Yeah.
that you can actually give them a platform and a space to actually shine. Do you get what I'm saying?
I feel that. I think in an ideal world where I say ideal world because look, everyone knows how good of a team that team is, right? But if you actually had to remove Shifty, Hisoka, and Biffle, and you paired NA with EU, I think you'd see a lot of interesting. I think you'd see a lot of interesting scores, and I would like to think that you'd see a lot more EU than NA. That's a conversation.
That will be. Hey, that will.
I can't
be
wait.
seen.
I cannot wait for the
That's
NA
what
EMEA
we're
wedge.
gonna see.
Hey, listen,
Hey.
bro. Listen, man.
What's gonna be?
We're
insane.
gonna
It's gonna
listen.
be good.
We've already, somewhat found some ground to kind of figure out that it's going to be in London. And it'll be in the month of September. We don't know when, but hopefully it does.
Allegedly.
But look, like it doesn't even stop there. Like obviously, the drama around Louis CM, Bubbles, and Wars. I think we need to kind of briefly discuss that because obviously, before the last chance qualifiers, it wasn't looking so good. Was it last chance qualifiers? I don't think it was LC. Was it LCQ?
I think they dropped LCQ.
What are you talking about? The little passer that they had.
Yeah, that was before LCQ, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was before qualifiers. No.
No.
Or
It was during
it was after
qualifiers.
the first week of qualifiers or something like that.
Yeah.
or first day.
I think it was.
They
No,
changed
yeah, it was.
squads
Yeah,
midway through.
it was during the regional.
Finals, no.
Yeah, it was during the regional finals.
Yeah, literally determined who was
Making it, and who was exactly. And obviously they obviously got a call up for the the World Cup out in Riyadh, and he decided to go with 2 of his former teammates from the previous year, instead of and I guess to an extent people were disgruntled because he didn't go with his current team, which would have built morale, built reps, and ultimately, seeing how far they really can go as a new team.
I'm talking about.
Where, chivalry is not exactly existent in this case.
But why would you not play with your team?
No. You're asking me. I'm telling you, I know exactly what I'm doing in this scenario.
I'm just posing it to everybody. Like, it's just, I don't get any logic. Like, you think you can win World Series of Warzone with a team, but you don't think you can win Esports World Cup. So why the hell are you a team? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. You should be putting all your. That's how I talk about the lack of passion from these players. Like, you should be putting all your eggs in your team's basket. So it doesn't matter what competition it is or what opportunity it is. You should be playing as a trio in everything. That's why these teams are not getting better, because they're not playing all these little other tournaments, all these scrims, putting themselves in a situation where they have to play with each other all the flipping time.
I don't even think
I don't
they're
even know
actually
if they all
playing
grind
pubs
together.
together.
Do they even grind together? Like,
Yeah. They only play together when it's time to practice when tournaments are coming up. That's what I think.
That's what I'm saying. These people need to stop looking at names. Oh yeah, this person's a big name. This person is huge in the scene and really good. Look,
I mean, the only downside
you're actually gonna play with a lot.
I think the obvious thing is like Wars went with. So I think Wars went with Vision and Showstopper. Am I correct? I think that's the two that he went to the World Cup with. And I think it's one of them ones where obviously everyone's gonna have like their own moral code. Mine definitely is more along the side of Louis CM, thinking, look, like you're with a team, you're competing with World Series, compete with your World Series team. It makes the most sense. Obviously for him, like he didn't look at it that way. Chivalry doesn't exist in competitive.
Person that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the other two must have thought, "Whoa, this is a payday for us," right? And this is a team that dropped Wars, by the way. So I'm not really with the whole like no hard feelings. Like circumstantially, I get it, but I ain't gonna lie. If I'm in a new team and I've been dropped by the team that I'm supposedly trying to get members back for a World Cup, I'm not going back, bro. I am most. If anything, if they even go, I'm making sure that I finish at least a place above them, so that they know what time it was and what they really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's my motivation, and I feel like that should have been his. But anyway, amidst all of that, they still managed to finish second, and they did really well and finished second. You know what I'm saying? Now they were they were on the verge of not even making it, and they went and did a whole 180. Wars and Bubbles played absolutely crazy, and as well as Louis, our boy Louis, you know what I'm saying, he's done really well for himself. I'm happy to see him at regional finals once again, second year in a row. And this is above a team which I thought would actually finish top. I mean, the point differential between the two teams isn't that high, but I thought Enkyo, Gromolok, and Iheeds would have actually finished second or first, especially with the way they were playing in qualifying early doors. I know obviously King AJ and Visions and Showstopper were absolutely smashing it through qualification, but this is the first time I've actually seen a French trio do so well that it was almost like which you don't see often. So when you do see it, you got to appreciate it for what it is. They've done really, really well. And you know, I think it kind of goes to show that if, like I said, like these teams matching up with the other teams, you just don't know what's gonna happen. But
It's gonna be a movie.
You know what I mean? When push comes to shove and the pressure's on, listen, man. Hey, we're gonna be there. All three of us are gonna be there. We're gonna watch it. You know, we're gonna be on 4K. You know, 44K. You know what I'm saying?
Something interesting did happen in this tournament there.
Yep.
The tweet that were in.
Was that NA? That was NA. That was LCQ NA.
That was NA.
And do you know what? While we was here, I brought up the rules, the World Series of Warzone rules. Yeah, I've got the whole like
the rule set.
Yeah, like the table of contents is what
Table of contents of that.
And obviously the players have to sign like a legislation that says obviously they have to adhere to admins doing the monitor checks and all that kind of stuff, right? But what's crazy to me, is that clearly, like, on the main broadcast channel, Call of Duty, like, all these different players are being shown. You're telling me that when this player was shown on the main broadcast, that no one was thinking to themselves, hold on a minute, this is a bit sus. Like, and also as well, how did they not do monitor checks before the tournament started? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even if, regardless if you think that everybody is, like, operating within the, what do you call it, like,
I'll review the rule set.
Like like good sportsmanship, sportsmanship in esports, that kind of flex, Like, even regardless, you still got to do the monitor checks on everyone because this is a professional esports tournament.
He said he passed the PC check.
That's mental. So the admins have done a bad job.
Which is scary. Which is scary.
I think to look, we're gonna definitely dive into this because I think there is a huge problem. Not just from a physical perspective of what's happened, but it's almost the mental aspect of things that have happened and how it's been able to, you know, withdraw potential opportunity for other competitors. How it ruined 3 out of 4 games for the likes of I think it was Almond Noobs,
team.
and I can't remember the last person on that team. They didn't qual.
Oh, it's what's his name? It's like big
Skullface.
No.
Maybe
Skullface didn't qualify.
Was it him?
No, his name starts with a B. Is it like? Oh, I forgot his name. He's cold though. Sick Warzone player. I forgot his name.
I thought it was just.
No, is it Louis?
No, I'm pretty sure it was.
No. When I say the name, you're not gonna be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, no, it's definitely. Wait, Janice, I am correct. It is Almond, Noobs, and Skullface, right?
Is this? Are you sure it's Skullface?
I'm hoping I am.
It's flipping league.
Either way, all three of them actually they got bumped.
Actually, got bumped.
I said they got bumped.
Landing in the same spot and fighting somebody that's
they were
blatantly cheating.
No, but bro, on 3 out of 4 maps, they were contested every game. 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Like they are like, imagine like you're in LCQ, right? Now, categorically speaking, if you're in LCQ, you have to have done a lot of like preparation towards getting into like this final set of 4 games, maybe 5 games because of the wild card. I don't know how it works, right? But you've gone into those games with a mindset of, okay, we need to land here, we need to get these games. Cool. Every time you land, you're getting beamed by the same team. And obviously in competitive, you're not looking at the fact that this person might potentially be cheating. You're just looking at a sense like, yo, we need to change our strategy. And so imagine how much of that in terms of the psyche and being able to kind of react to that scenario they have to do, not knowing that they're dealing with a cheater.
Yeah.
So they're already looking at it from a perspective of, wow, like we're terrible. When really and truly, they aren't terrible. They've been hacked on tremendously, and it's it's ruined the complete outcome of the LCQ.
That was just void. It's just void.
Let's underline that, the competitive integrity there. Like it's actually, because think about it, Warzone's already in like a shit place for it trying to be on the come up as a serious esports, right?
Right.
And obviously some people are not taking it seriously enough,
right,
and rightly so, because look what's just happened here. Like this is meant to be one of the biggest tournaments in Warzone. Like, well, Call of Duty, you could say, because I don't even think the prize pool for CDL is that big, or as big as this. Obviously, willing to be stand corrected, but yeah, the competitive integrity. Like, players are trying to grow the scene, and then you've got players like this who are cheating live-o. Like, it's. I'm so disappointed. It's not
a 2v2. It's not a 2v2 online, is it? Like, it's not a kill race, and you got random people in the lobby, and you're getting hacked on. It's like, this is like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, these players are not thinking anyone competing right now that's made it to this point is hacking. Like, you have to at some point, like, they shouldn't even have to
go through all of
that
these
in the back of their mind. Like, this is an official Activision World Series or Warzone tournament. Like, if you've made it here, the necessary checks should have been done. Like,
and the thing,
I've got a question to pose to you lot, and obviously those in the chat as well. Okay, so obviously we've established that there was a cheater or said person cheated or whatever. Yeah. What do you think could have been an outcome to resolve this? Like, how do you fix something like this?
Okay,
players like Alma or other players that have been affected by this.
So from a few, like, moving forward,
POA.
From moving forward, it's a very different answer. But if I had to have made a decision there and then, they had to have been removed, and they had to replay it. They had to replay the 4 games, because I'm telling, like, if you look at how the point differentials differ, the team that cheated was second, like one of their players, second most kills, second most eliminations throughout the entire game.
We need a tweet.
Mind you,
we need a tweet.
Mind you,
said, let me read this out. I don't give a F what anybody says. This shows I can play and stack up against the effing best. We only go up from here. That's what the cheater tweeted when they saw they were the second elim kill leader. They tweeted that, and then their next tweet was owning up to the fact that they got caught cheating. The Shameless was a person.
The scene is in shambles.
If Shameless was a person, and they still didn't qualify, how you cheating and you suck? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I'm actually getting secondhand embarrassment. Like,
so, okay, that's a fair point. So Shah says add more spaces in the finals, which I guess it's tougher to do considering it will feel as if they should also give spots to other regions. Because it's not 4 and a 5 to not go through and have to replay, but everyone else should get their fair chance without the hackers. So I do hear it. I think it's tougher to do that if so let's look at it from the perspective of the 5 teams that have qualified. Their game may have not been affected at all by those cheaters, those hackers, right? And in any way, they deserve to go through. But let's say, for instance, a team that you would normally see frag, it's not that they're underperforming, they are blatantly being hacked on, like, no matter what they do. It's tough to kind of eliminate them because they are seen as not good enough.
I'm more disappointed with the org, though, the company itself. It's like, you're hosting this tournament, right? You even got a main broadcast, and you're telling me in 6
I don't expect them to know, though.
They're watching everyone. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I know they're not meant to see but I know it's like very lucky to go onto their POV and then catch that person cheating. Like, I know that's it's going to be very rare and lucky for it to happen. But like I said, you're watching everybody. Like, and even so, like, the players as well, like, they should be watching kill cams. I'm sorry, but even if I'm competing, I'm watching every kill cam because, like, naturally you would, so you can call out who's where and whatnot. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for Almond and them lot, like, noobs and that, to continuously be getting shit on, like, they're not rubbish players, by the way. Like, even when I heard that they were doing very, like, they weren't them usual selves. Yeah, like, I was thinking, hold on a minute, like, is there something wrong with the synergy?
But
like,
that's kind of like
a breakdown in cohesion. But
that was the same.
Something was sus. Like,
but that was the same.
It was bait.
But that was the same way. Like, we were looking at it from the Lennon, Jukies, and FIFA perspective. Like, we'd seen how they were performing during the regionals, and it was like what? Like, why are they performing so badly? Like, what's going on? And obviously, had it happened in that circumstance, we would be like, oh, well, that's probably why they've had an update. It keeps happening. But we base it on the actual integrity of the game, that somebody wouldn't do that. And in that circumstance, it didn't. And they had to fry out in LCQ to get their spot. Right? Now, if they've done that for EU or EMEA, then you'd like to think that the same should be done for NA. However, that wasn't done. And my argument here is Call of Duty is a NA based game. Like, that's how I view it. So if it's gonna be sussed out, it has to happen quickly. Like, I'm not even talking as far as regionals. Like, if there is any way, shape, or form, any way to detect that this team are performing abnormally through the qualification process, that has to have been snuffed out ASAP.
You also have to think, the only team wasn't just Almond's team that was affected. This man is the second in Elim kill leader. So
he's killed.
That was affected
The
presence of that team in all of those games has
affected every team.
In the lobby.
Yep.
Whether it's in a good way or a bad way, every single person in those lobbies were affected, which is why I think the only thing you do is either what they did, which say, sorry, we're not, this just is what it is, or they replay all maps.
Yeah,
there's no other way.
Done, to be honest, I don't think there's any harm in replaying. It's like, just let everyone know, like, look, guys, despite where you lot have finished, we're gonna refresh everything, and we're just gonna go again because there was somebody cheating. And now even players should understand that. Like,
yeah, because if it happened to them, they'd want it to happen. They'd want that to happen.
The people that qualified, not gonna lie, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, because they play like their skin. Yeah, I hear it.
Everybody in that lobby should be pissed together at not the format necessarily, but just at the incompetence of the league being able to.
Can we just also state the obvious?
Unfortunately, if you're all going into it, every other team has competitive integrity other than that team that's cheating. At the end of the day, if you have a whole team that's there for 5 games, whether you directly got killed by them or not, whatever they did has affected your game. So your game is void. Your whole 5 games are all void unless you can guarantee that all activity on the map was not affected by this one team, which you can't do. Everybody, unfortunately, now has to replay those maps, whether it's fair or not, whether you called or not. Like,
it's frustrating.
It's not a one-off. It's not. It's frustrating as hell.
I think it's one of them ones where if it happens to one team, if it happens to one team and you've seen how it's affected them, you wouldn't want to be the team it's been affected by.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So like,
I might not speak up first, but like,
yeah, exactly. But like, no, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You don't want, like, it's sad that someone has to be made an example of that scenario. But again, you don't want to find yourself in that circumstance, because if you are put in that circumstance, you expect them to replay the games.
Yeah,
that's just kind of how it is. Unfortunately, in this circumstance, that wasn't the case. But can we also make note of the fact that although this team had the second most eliminations via player, right, they themselves did not qual. So not only did they ruin everything, they made a joke of themselves in the process.
You would hope they would qual, so they could just take away
the spot and give it to somebody else. Exactly.
You would have hoped that would have been the case, but it wasn't.
And then,
you know what?
And then dudes out here just
that they just wanted to, said person just wanted to abuse the cheats, because how you got second in eliminations, but you couldn't finish in the correct placements, like.
And then you tweet after. This is why I said, like, there's definitely an issue in terms of the mental here, right? You then still have the cheek after to tweet what you tweeted, and then apologize. The way you apologize was even like there was not the same energy as you had with the tweet of, like, if I call it that, like,
apology, you know, was a paragraph, no?
It wasn't good enough, bro.
It wasn't even an apology. It wasn't an apology.
It was
just. They just said,
I'm sorry, I got caught. Is what I thought.
But trust me,
I did that shit. I got caught, and I'm gone.
They were literally like, if you think we're the only ones doing this, you're wrong.
Yeah.
We're just better at hiding it. And Chef, the other guy on my team, is an idiot because he didn't hide it well enough. That's not an apology.
Yeah.
We know people were doing it.
I
so
got caught.
Well.
I got caught.
That's what that was.
Haha. Yeah, we're gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? It's I got caught and fuck the rest. That's pretty much it.
They literally said if the gameplay didn't leak, you wouldn't even tell. Like they used to justify.
Bro, the saddest thing is that shit would have been found out online, and it wouldn't have mattered at that point because they would have got their payout. They would they could literally have done all, like, obviously most people are gonna be in it for the money anyway, but like,
do you know what? That's probably what they did, not to justify anything, but like that's probably what they wanted to do, was to cheat their way to LAN. And even if they did worse, they still come out with some sort of money. Because they entered with no money, they're gonna automatically leave with something. Do you know what I mean? So they tried to cheat their way to LAN. Embarrassing. Still didn't qualify.
It's beyond me.
But this is the problem though. Like, in the grand scheme of things, like, it with Warzone as a esport is trying to grow, but then you've got this that's just in the light now. The fact that somebody blatantly cheated and got away with it. They got away with it.
Nothing happened. Like, I get it. Someone in the chat said
nothing from Activision either. No message or nothing to acknowledge or to say, like, listen, we've acknowledged that this has just happened. We are now ensuring that Ricochet or whatever, blah 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 blah. No, they're just quiet. Like, it's poor. It's poor. I'm not gonna lie.
Someone in the chat said there's probably other teams that didn't get caught, but the message that Activision are sending is nothing's gonna happen if you do get caught. You just got caught. Like, if Activision say we're playing all 5 of those maps, even if other people are cheating, that sends a signal.
Yep.
That sends a signal to them. Like, it's not, if you get caught, not only you out of the tournament, we're gonna replay it all. So you lost your opportunity to play again.
I think as well, unpopular take, right? But I think cheaters in video games, especially if you're playing professionally, you should get prosecuted. Whether it's a hefty fine, or I'm not saying serve prison time, because obviously there's people that have done mad things that have, you know, got less time and stuff like that. But you should be punished in some way, shape, or form. If that means that you can, like, your whole account for Call of Duty is just banned, that means you got to create a whole other account or whatever it may be.
Nah, that's not good enough.
Punished. Yeah, and
I feel like probably... do you know what they do? Like, stuff like that, they need to have an IP ban on their device. Yeah. And like, categorically speaking, sure, they could probably pay somebody to buy them a new PC, etc. But you still have to be at home to play. I'm sorry, you're not gonna go to. You go into a library to plug your PC in and play games. They ain't gonna allow that shit. Fuck that. They need to find a way to.
Yeah, I think a hefty fine.
A very hefty fine. Yeah.
I think 10 grand minimum.
Shit,
bro, that's enough to set you back for it.
Yeah, no.
10 grand will set you back a bit. If you're not, and especially if you're competitive, you technically.
Do you think these people are?
Listen, you people are
fighting for 10 grand.
I mean, you're playing for a mil. No, but a mil's a bit. Putting anyone in a mil debt. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, sure. Yeah,
No, 10K. No.
10K is nothing, yeah. But I feel like it should be per offense.
They wouldn't even get it. They wouldn't even pay
the reason why I feel like 10K is a lot is because like no one's gonna be able to pay that in one go unless you actually like win tournaments consistently.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you've got winnings like that, then cool. But I think maybe facts, Sean. No, facts. I think. Do you know what it is? I can understand it because the higher it is, it will ensure nobody cheats. But at the same time, it might take someone 3-5 years to pay that back. Do you know? Because
why would you not make it $1 million then? If that's the only logic, if it's so high, then you
but a mil debt,
you make the fine $100,000.
A mil debt,
you make it
a mil debt.
Anything.
Like, don't get me. Listen, yeah, there are people that are outside doing worse. There are people outside doing worse that don't get prosecuted that way. That's why I say a mil is brazy. It's like at the end of the game, it's a video game for one, right? But I just look at it, it's like, of course, if you don't want to pay, just don't cheat. I hear it, but I'm telling you, on the away from the gaming space, people do a lot worse and pay a lot less.
Yeah,
right?
And then
somebody can go
in sports in general, like actual sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they either get lifetime bans and they get fines.
Yeah, exactly. So the same principle should be applied in esports.
Why are we comparing? I just think like you can't like in gaming. It's just I don't know, man. It's different. Like, I get why there is a call for it to be like a you know what I mean. There's a call for it to be harsh.
Represents posed the question. And said whether it's possible or not, if they made COD competitive console only, do you think it would be better?
That was actually the next. You know how I said I've got two sides to this? Initially, when the topic started, I said that's probably the only way until they have got their anti-cheat spot on, because Ricochet is not spot on by any means of the imagination, right? They've more or less just, I think a few months back, they kind of figured out a way to kind of damage or like disable the Cronus on PS5, right? So I would like to think console wise, that's the only way they should compete. I mean, if you even look at CDL up to the point before PCs were being used, that's all they could use. They could only use console.
CDL has an argument because nobody plays on KBM.
Right. That's now though.
If you do that for but I'm saying like as in they've been on PC for a number of years and nobody plays on KBM. The numbers competing. But with Warzone, like from the beginning of Warzone, you have a hefty KBM presence. So would it be better in terms of like it would 100% rectify these issues? 100%. Would it be better for the scene? No. And I wouldn't really, and it would make me think: are they really gonna fix their anti-cheat or really have the same amount of push to do it if they just switch the console? What kind of message is that sending? In my opinion, is that gonna make them hastily fix their anti-cheat, or is that gonna make them be like, oh, okay, now it's on console, I guess we don't have to worry about it too tough? I don't want to enable them to sit back at any point.
Yeah,
but. It would fix the problem. That is a fact. It would fix it. But I don't know if that is a step in the right direction for the scene.
I think it's a short term.
I think it's a temporary fix. Yeah. I don't think it's not a long term.
You can play keyboard and mouse on Xbox. I don't know for PlayStation. Like obviously, there's no console war thing. I just know that you can play keyboard and mouse now on Xbox. But if you could play keyboard and mouse on PlayStation 2, then I think this would be a step in the direction of a fix. But then again, it will set players back because everyone's been playing on these high frame rates and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it will change the entire team.
It will change. It will definitely change. I also just to kind of add to what Shah said there as well. Like, I don't think from a World Series perspective, it should be 10K. By the way, I'm talking 10K as
in general.
Like, if I talk like any form of cheating and you're even in a Twitter tourney, you need to be charged heftily because more time you have to pay to get into those tourneys. These are not free entry tourneys. You're paying with cheats to get into a tourney. You should be left with a hefty fine from the get-go. If you get to World Series,
when you get the game,
if you get to World Series, you know what they need to do? If you get to World Series, and you have not been found out, right? Let's say you get found out stage 2 qualifiers, right? I beg they triple it or they quadruple it. Because whatever your earnings would have been in your Twitter tourneys, triple it as a fine. That's kind of how I should look at it. Don't make it unless now if you're stupid and you've earned a lot of money on cheats, by all means pay that mil because that's your quadruple. You get it. But before it gets to that, let you have your be warned. Be warned. That first 10k, slap on the wrist. Alright?
I said 10k slap on the
Slap on the wrist. The next one, don't even try it. Don't even They need to do something. They need to do something.
That's what I'm like. There should be a user agreement or something. Yeah. Like when you get a game, it should be in there. If you were caught,
you know what's interesting as well?
You will pay a fine, and we know your IP.
I think the other thing that obviously that like the recent, like I say recent because obviously there's quite a few people over here that get shadow banned, like incorrectly to some extent. It'd be tough if this now system that they judge shadow bans or whatever on are now part of the the problem when it comes to these tourneys. So
yeah,
I think there needs to definitely be like when there's like a user agreement, there also needs to be like a system check, whether they have like a program to kind of identify what's connected to the PC. If they've done like a thorough search and they found nothing, and then all of a sudden someone's plugged in something the next day before they can even load into a match. Call of Duty needs to have that thing of right, accounts been wiped, accounts banned, fine. But I'm not even talking as a competitor now. I'm talking about as a casual. There should be a fine for a casual if you're cheating.
I'll be real. The only other thing, and this requires money, but I think you gotta put money into it. In my humble opinion, no qualifying match should ever be played online.
No, can you elaborate, please, Miss Piggy?
Because I've seen you just see it everywhere. You see it in Apex, you see it in CDL, you see it loads of places. All these important matches, all these qualifiers weekly playing online cheese, not being as competitive, and that's without them being cheaters. People we complain about online qualifiers, period, just not being as competitive as LAN. I don't know how much money you need to put into it because BRs are very hard because of the amount of people that are in it. But you need to find a way, whether it's like a local thing that they have to go to, like there's a center in every location that those players have to physically go to play these matches. Not maybe take a flight and go to another country, but as in your own country, there has to be something in place where all those players have to go there and play these qualifying matches under literally direct watch from Activision employees.
Yes. Yeah.
There's not, I'm at home and you can see my screen.
And you know what as well? I think that would help restore the integrity in Warzone because it shows like Activision or whoever are actually but they care. They literally care. Like
it's like a path to progress.
That's a W suggestion right there. I'm for that. I'm really for that because there's at the end of the day, if you want to grow the scene, if you want to be considered a professional Warzone player, they need to start acting like professionals and they need to start doing things where they separate the casual player base to the professionals. Exactly, so when professionals are performing, send them out to an area where there's a building with PCs and monitors and blah 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 blah. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm actually here for that. The only time we should see people online at their home setups,
casual
like
and pumps.
CB2s,
little races. Stuff like that.
I just think competitive as a whole needs to be played away from home, just away from your main environment. It should
be a facility or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be asking for a lot from Activision perspective.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But if you want the scene to grow, you have to do a lot, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like for the CDL, it's easier because they only have 12 teams, 4 people on each team, but they have CDL approved PCs. They have PCs that were supplied by the league, so if you put something in there, it will be picked up.
It's gonna get detected. That's gonna go off. So,
Nah, I hear it.
That's the levels that they're going to stop some of these things. And don't get me wrong, there has been hackers in challenges with an online tournament because they don't deem challenges as important enough to put that same amount of money into it. But you don't really see hackers end up in the CDL. You don't really see it. It don't happen.
If ever.
They put their money where their mouth is.
They're gunny.
So like this I like that. But I don't know. They just need to have better monitoring or hire some staff to fly out and go to these people's homes or just something. Just something. I don't know I just think there needs to be more done because in a path to pro environment, with the amount of money these people are making, we're talking millions. These people are playing for millions of dollars.
Exactly.
You need to vet your players properly. People can't be missing out on once in a lifetime opportunities like this. This is literally changing people's lives.
Life-changing opportunity. Life-changing opportunity. Deep it. Life-changing opportunities, and all they could say is, "Oh, people, there are people you don't even know that have been seen." That's the best they can do, and then that's the best they can explain, and then there's nothing else done about it. So the players that have been like, mind my language, but the players that have been hoed, stay hoed. Like, do better. There's got to be better than that. Surely there's got to be better than that. Yeah. But we obviously did get to see the EU LCQ, and a team that we were hoping, praying, at times, starving ourselves of glory. JOK's Lennon and FIFA Kill finally managed to, make themselves seen and heard under quite interesting circumstances, because the score was actually not that high. Not something we obviously see of them more regularly, but high enough to be with, like, no question, no doubt, making it into the global finals. Obviously we know that Yuki's has had a few things going on in his personal life. Lennon, there's nothing anybody can say to me about Lennon that is not lovable about the guy. Like, that guy is a hard worker. He's an absolute student of the game, and I'm just happy for him. You see how much passion he puts into the game on a daily basis. So yeah, like, he needs to be saved at all costs. I'm sorry, but there's no way you can look at. There's no other way you can look at it. And it's great to see that it's FIFA Kill that's in that team, because that for me seems like it's the glue. That's what holds things together. Experience. Rapperman bubble wrap is crazy, by the way. But yeah, no. It's good to see them there. We do also see the guys that topped it with 147 score, and this is going to be a team that are very, very much on the watch at Globals. Robstar, who, if anybody didn't come across Robstar and, VERDANSK, I don't know, because that guy been a demon for a minute. B-Blade as well, and Vortex. Vortex is a bit more newer for me, but we still have Bugs, Benze, and Stook. Jesus Christ, I can't speak properly right now.
I feel like Vortex was a COD player, like CDL player.
Hey man, anything can happen in the World Series of Warzone.
Vortex.
But yeah, we look at the top. I think it's the top 4 or the top 5 teams, and then they've obviously got the wild card. I bought StuKX in the Gulag the other day. Damn, listen, the other day, who was it I was talking to? I met someone in my game, and I was vexed. We'll talk about it later, man. It happens when you play it on NA host. Everything happens, bro. When you play an EU host, I don't know enough about the player. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He's Italian. He was in the CDL first. Yes, he is. He did play in the CDL.
Yep. There you go. Damn. 147. The point differential on this is even bigger than the NA one, guys. 147.2 to 98.2.
That's sickening.
That's
sickening.
If this team are not being like looked at, they need to be like, bro.
I'm gonna be real. From now on, any tournaments that these 3 are in, I'm just putting my whole account on them.
A man said in an LCQ situation, by the way, I need to understand this is still LCQs. They didn't play against the best teams. No.
Sorry.
No.
Joy, because I'm looking at your stream, but the print is small.
It's small. I know. I do apologize.
Stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I can just full screen it.
But yeah, no. LCQ teams out of EU played pretty well.
Score difference, that is mental.
I mean, even the score difference from 5th down to 6th is a whole 9 points, and then from there it's 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. Yeah.
Joyce, you can see here who really iced up, like who really was.
Hey man, listen.
Ready, like who really had the second.
You know what really like? So the team that I was really hoping would make it, obviously they swapped him out later on. Obviously our boy Zite is no longer part of Team Revolt. Team Revolt missed out by literally 6 points.
Eesh.
Like that was a painful watch, because obviously my boy Mike, he was at World Series with us last year. He wasn't competing, and he knuckled down real hard this year. I got to talk to Brandon Skulls more recently, and that team actually played well. I think if they had played earlier, so if it wasn't LCQ and this was the original team, they probably would have qualified. And that doesn't say that Zayt wouldn't have performed on any other team. It might have just been that wasn't the right fit, and they found the right fit, but they found it too little, too late. But that kind of wraps it up with the EU side of things. Obviously, we kind of have a brief look at the NA LCQs. We got Omit T, who's representing women in the first woman to compete at World Series. Only woman this year. Yep. The only woman.
That was one last year, right?
Chris.
Did she make it?
Did Chrissy make it? I'm even trying to think. How many players made it last year? Smixy didn't even compete this year because of the whole.
No, last year.
She made it last year. Yeah,
she made it last year. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good to see that Omit T made it into the through the last chance qualifiers for global. There's quite a bit of representation. There aren't too many people I do recommend. I do see. I think rated prospect to Mayapo just missed out. By 4 points. We have Ryder, Almighty TJM, JTech. These are teams I don't know of. Honestly, all of these guys that are in LCQ. I mean, my boy IQ just missed out. Colors just missed out. Tommy, Teeny, and Orbs just missed out. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we've already spoken about a fiasco that took place here because that's how we know where certain players placed. Armadu's a Skullface, of course. Mutex, Intex. What a combo, by the way. But yeah, no, like it's just unfortunate.
Big hitters that didn't make it.
Yeah, and obviously these are like, albeit they are competitors. A lot of these people are friends, so obviously it will be quite disappointing not to see your friend make it. But I honestly, I'm interested to see the sort of talent pool and what sort of surprises we are going to see at World Series. But that kind of wraps up the World Series segment of the podcast. We're gonna now dive very briefly into CDL, which I will leave with both Piggy and Warren to take away, because honestly, there is quite a lot to look forward to because we have got a championship starting.
CDL champs this week.
Well, I'll say congrats to myself and Piggy.
Okay, this is where I leave the conversation for a hot sec.
I'm sorry that Boston Breach Timo didn't make it. Do you know what? I was here for your philosophy of the whole like redemption arc type shit, but yeah, they just didn't have it. But
is what it is, man.
CDL champs this week. Before we actually go into champs, before we actually do predictions, let's just talk about season 4. Wow, let's talk about Major 4. Piggy, what's your overall take with Major 4?
How the hell did Subliners do it? How? Wait,
not just how they did it, but did it again.
Wait, he actually left. Hold on.
Yeah, he's gone. Look at him gone.
Oh my days. He'll be back. Well, yeah, I mean, Subliners go on another losers bracket run. I'm starting to think this team only performs when they're under pressure because they just turn into a different squad. Obviously, biggest shock of the tournament is obviously Optic from 1st to 12th. You know, they win Major 3. Everyone's like, oh, they're peaking at the right time, me included. And then they go to Major 4 and they just get, well, first of all, their qualifying matches, I think they won 1 or none of all of their qualifying matches, and then they just get double bopped out of Major 3, which is, I don't know. I mean, I watched their podcasts. I watched the breakdown with Scump, and he was talking to JP, and they were saying that everyone is assuming that they put their foot off the gas when they won, and JP was like, they've been playing more now than when they did before they actually won the last major. So they just kind of dispelled all those rumors, but they said it was more about overthinking their play style, and obviously teams are caught up to them. Teams are starting to notice what they do. Like Shotzi's getting caught out a lot more doing his plays, and Preds was overheating a lot. Like Pred is either like the most dangerous person on the map, or he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
There's been a lot of controversy around Pred because Optic fans were screaming, "Yeah, we need get Pred, oh, da-da-da-da-da." Now Pred's in the team, everyone's like, get him gone. But my take, just outside looking in, is like, this is their first season together. Like this is the first time the rosters gelled, and to be honest, like they've still done well to be amongst like top 4. Like if like it's not like they've done terribly this season. Do you know what I'm saying? They're still amongst the top 4. Really they're still competing. It's just lack of consistency. Do you know what I mean? Because we know if Optic are consistent, they are arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. Like even like I could see an informed Optic beat a FaZe, even an informed FaZe. Because FaZe, we know when it comes to like the latter stages of the tournament, i.e. winners finals or the grand finals, they seem to capitulate a little bit. Like they seem to not really ice up, and that's becoming more consistent. Whereas I've seen Optic, when they get that flow state, just how Subliners did in losers bracket, we know that they can smack everyone. Like even I know that. I'm not like, obviously I'm a FaZe fan and whatnot, but even I know Optic, once they reach flow state form, they are the best team in the league, in my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's just how
getting there for them is hard.
I'm shocked that they crashed out round 1, you know, like bad. Elimination round 1. And even looking at the match details as well, like you start a strong HP, S&D you lost 6-3, and then Control you lost 3-0. That's scary there, because a 3-0 in Control to not pick up at least a round. You think about it, this is the losers bracket, so you need to be picking up, like you need to make every game close. Your S&D losing by 3 rounds not good enough. As a caliber like Optic, a team like Optic, sorry, that's not good enough in my opinion, especially just before champs. And then to not win a round in Control as well, questionable. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, with the hard point, they won 250 to 233, and then they lost by 1 round in the S&D Karachi. But to be honest, I'm not. If I was an Optic fan, I wouldn't be worried, because we know that once they get it to click, like it's gonna click. Do you know what I mean? But
average placement
it's the first time these are playing together. So everyone, Optic fans, Plastic fans, whatever kind of fan you are, just cut them some slack, because on paper they are one of the best teams.
Their placements this year is 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 12th. Like consistency is not a problem. This was an anomaly of a tournament for them to come 12th. Literally the average top 3. So with a new roster. So this is probably the most consistent squad they've actually had. Something just happened. Like unfortunately, it does happen. Like people catch up to you. Like they weren't that far ahead. If you look at how far ahead Optic was against everybody else, it wasn't that far. It's not like FaZe when they're top of their game, they have miles between them and then 2nd and 3rd and 4th. Optic didn't have that space. They edged it slightly and they won at the right time, but everybody caught up quick. Everybody clocked onto them quickly, and they didn't adjust. They started overthinking the S&D, which is the reason why they won the major in the first place, and that they couldn't win S&D in the qualifying matches. Everybody has adapted. So for me, I've always said I like it when Optic do badly before champs, because it's whenever they are on an upward trajectory, they always lose champs, because that is usually the time that people adapt to them. If they're doing that the major before, this gives Optic an opportunity to peak again, which is they have no other option, like it's the last Olympic tournament. But at least they have something to go back to the drawing board and be like, we need to fix this. If there's ever a time for them to have a bad placement, it's major 4. This could win champs. They could have done well major 4 and then got bottom 8. 8-5 for champs. So no, with that being said, it could be with that being said, it could be a blessing in disguise then, because Optic, I know when they go back to the drawing board, they do come back the next qualifiers or LAN, wherever it may be. And
hungry.
And thing is, the next champs is hosted by Texas, no?
Yeah, it's in Texas and Dallas.
Yeah, so home advantage. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's going to have a play a part as well.
This is funny, but yeah, they have one opportunity to pull this together. I personally won't be surprised if they don't win. I just want them to do well. I feel like anything other than a top 4 placement will be a disappointment.
Facts.
And I think you only need top 4 to warrant continuing with this squad. I think the squad stays together.
I agree with that.
There are rumors about Formal wanting to compete in Black Ops 6 and leaving Halo, and people are talking like, we don't know if Kenny's safe on that team, because if Formal wants to play and he's an Optic, Formal's probably not going to go to another team.
Yeah.
People are saying, what happens if Formal's back? And I feel like these conversations are...
All right, let's play with that. Let's play with that a little bit. Who does he replace then?
Well, it only makes sense to replace Kenny.
Kenny. Oh, because he plays AR.
Yeah, but I think Kenny's probably like their most important piece on the team. So I personally wouldn't have that. I would actually rather Formal go to a different team. I'd rather him be under Optic as his org, but then because they can lease out players to another play. Yeah, they do all the time.
I didn't even know.
So flipping, it's Timmy in Apex. He's under 100 Thieves, but he plays for DSG, which is disguised for Apex, but he's still 100 Thieves. So they do it all the time, but they could very easily do that with Formal. He could go and play with. I kind of want to see Formal and Ghosty. I wouldn't even mind him going to like a LA Thieves and creating a team around him. But if he stays on Optic, I don't think Dashi leaves. I think Formal and Dashi are extremely close. They have Chem, and I think Formal can play Flex. So you would replace Kenny. Formal's a leader. He's very methodical. He's a very similar player to Kenny. And I can't lie, if this game is good and Formal likes it, I think Formal will be a better AR than Kenny.
Yeah.
Mechanically. Yeah. So but then it's not fair. Like Kenny's literally transformed the team, so
it'd be a bit. Sure. Yeah, that'd be really fucked up ways to go about things.
But it's just a shame, to be honest, because that Major 4, it was like everyone kind of predicted, like, okay, FaZe are gonna win it now. Texas are gone.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ultra, they lost their first game in the winners round 1. They dropped to the losers bracket round 2, I think. Obviously, Subliners, I think, already started in losers, or they got put there.
It started in winners. They lost to FaZe. They got 3-0'd. Yeah, they got 3-0'd by FaZe straight away.
Yeah, they got 3-0'd by FaZe and then went to the final and beat them. Like this is why I fuck with Subliners so heavy.
Bro, that is a run and a half. Like
they only dropped 3 maps in the losers run.
Yeah,
3 maps.
In the first 3 games, those are the only 3 maps in those first 3 games. The only ones they lost.
Hold on, let me see. And let me actually check what was it that they lost. So, so S&D.
In what mode?
Yeah, that's it. What mode? So that's what I meant. S&D. So it was S&D for the first one. Control against Vegas, and against LA Thieves, it was another Control. Okay, no, it wasn't. Sorry, it was S&D. My bad. 2
S&Ds and a respawn.
Yeah, 2 S&Ds and a respawn.
Which makes sense because S&D is a very flip-floppy game mode. Like
and then obviously they 3-0'd in round 4, 3-0'd in finals, and then did what they did. I predicted. I'm not gonna lie. Like the moment they went into that losers bracket, Piggy and Timo, I literally called it. I said they're gonna do if they're gonna do the losers run, they're gonna go into flow state and they're gonna win it. Like I had such a hunch and gut feeling about that, and they did it. I should have put money on it. But...
I was shocked about them beating FaZe. I'm not gonna lie, only because I'm looking at FaZe's run. They 3-0'd Subliners, which is not an easy match.
Yeah.
They 3-0 Surge, not an easy match. They 3-0 Gorillas, fair enough. Gorillas have been playing better on LAN. Gorillas like a LAN team, weird as hell.
Yeah, they are a LAN
3-0'd
team.
them straight to grand finals. It's like they didn't have an easy. Like I feel like sometimes FaZe has a very easy winners run. But they faced very scrappy teams.
Yeah, I would say, though, this was the first time that I've seen FaZe, I think this season, have somewhat of an easy run into grand finals. Yeah. That's why I thought FaZe were going to win it. Like, I genuinely thought FaZe were going to get Major 4 because they dealt with Subliners. Like, right, we've dealt with Subliners now. Yeah. And then, obviously, Ultra lost as well. So I was thinking, okay, this is the perfect opportunity for FaZe to actually win it. And they did everything they had to do, which was literally 3-0 everyone to the grand final.
And then they just lost.
Yeah, but what Subliners did, sorry, I know I keep harping on about it, but what Subliners have done needs to be studied, because I don't understand how FaZe could do what they did in the winners bracket, and then in the grand finals, like, you don't even get to how many maps are there? It's like the last map. Like, you lost 4-2, which like, 4-2, so yeah, you lost the HP and you lost the S&D. Yeah, like, come on, guys, man.
It isn't in catch fire. I can't lie. The scariest thing is the Subliners. I don't think there's anything scarier than facing Subliners in the grand finals when they went to the losers bracket.
Yeah, simply.
There's too many reps.
Straight up.
The problem with Subliners, in my opinion, is that they're very slow burners. They don't ever start off hot, apart from Hydra. And even Hydra, more time he actually doesn't start off that hot, and then he goes like triple positive at the end of it, right? If you can catch them very early, which is what they did, they 3-0'd them. That's why they're able to do that. That Subliners are slow burners. This whole league let Subliners have like 5 series and then get to grand finals. They're not losing that. Like that's
not.
the exact type of team that they are. Like if you let them have more than 2 series in a tournament, they're making it to grand finals. Especially when it's like these are not easy matches. Yeah. They're not. They had to beat everyone. They had to beat Rocket. They had to beat Legion. They had to beat Thieves, Ultra, Gorillas, people that are fighting for CDL points to make it to champs, who are hungry, and they just steamrolled. And I'm not gonna lie. I said it before. In Hydra, we trust.
Yeah, no. The more you say it, the more I believe it. Like more and more. Like I'm starting to believe it more. Him being like controller player of the year last year, something like that. Yeah, like because at first I was skeptical about it. At first I was thinking, yeah, he's a great player, but controller player of the year. But then the more you say it to me, the more I believe it now because this losers run just backs up everything. Do you know what I'm saying? It backs up subliners as like a team, and it just backs up Hydra. The fact that he can literally just take the game by the scruff of its neck and just transform. And it's scary because I don't know who would you rather in that team have a bad game, Hydra or Kismet? Obviously, we know that Sib and who's the other AR? Skies. Like, yeah, see, that team's incredible, man. I'm not on paper. That team's incredible.
Kismet is not the difference maker in that team, is Sib. Yeah. If, like Hydra is already carrying. His back is in bits. I've been saying Hydra's been carrying this team this entire season. Disgustingly, it's sickening to me, right? But if Hydra and Kiz are playing well, they don't necessarily win that. You need one of your ARs to pop off, and Skies is not a flex. He is a main AR. Skies does his job, but he is not going to win you games. He needs everybody else to do their job. And Sib has been very lackluster. He has been very up and down. He is meant to be held in the same regard as Pred. When they were on Seattle Surge, who was like, who's going to get MVP? Pred or Sib? Could be any of them. Pred happened to get it. We have not seen MVP candidate Sib this season, apart from this tournament. And then what happens when he's shooting? They win.
They win, yeah.
Sib is playing like that. This is like the top 4 caliber team that we were looking at. And when Sib is shooting, they're not 4th on that list. No. They're not the worst top 4 team at that point. So it took a long flipping time, but it happened in this season. They won champs. For most of that season they weren't great. Then they went back to back and won champs. So if history is gonna repeat itself, I can't lie, they're looking good.
Please don't. Yeah. Please don't repeat yourself. Thank you very much.
Timo, who are you backing now that Boston's not in
Optic
champs? Optic? Yeah. Oh hell yeah. We're gonna wear green on Sunday.
Yeah. I think it's a green wall all this week across the universe.
I mean, we're in Texas, bro. What do you expect? It's in Texas. You're in Dallas, blood. Like you can't not.
Do you know what it is? The reason, Joyce, I just don't like the amount of PR that Optic Texas get. You can call me a hater. I don't really care.
Oh my
God. They deserve that shit, man. They deserve that shit.
It's mental. It's mental. It jars me a little bit, but I understand.
The Mount Rushmore orc of Call of Duty. Like they deserve it.
I get it. It's just like I kind of want the same PR like balanced across the league rather than like Optic, because like it's the whole when Optic play, the viewership just skyrockets. That just is funny to me. It's like the viewership could be say like 20k, and then Optic play it will just shoot to 40k or 60k.
46. You got the king of COD in there, man. You got Scump in there. King of COD as well. You got the best players that ever played Call of Duty. And
let's talk about Toronto Ultra, another top 4 team. Knocked out and winners round 1. Went on somewhat of a losers run. They struggled though. They did have a couple battles. Like, I mean, Heretics, if the score, in my opinion, doesn't justify the game.
Oh, the game.
Like, obviously, Heretics won the HP, but Ultra just about. I watched that S&D, by the way. The S&D between Heretics and Ultra was very close. It was just that Ultra had more of the ice, to put it plain and simple. They just had more of the ice there. But that was a very close S&D. Obviously, the Control, they won 3-1. And then the last hard point, 250 to 243. Like, the games were very close. You know? And then obviously, Seattle Surge, they beat them 3-2. So it was tough. Like, look they lost 250 to 125 in map 4 against Surge. So when they actually came against Subliners in round 4, are we surprised that they got 3-0'd? Not really, because if these teams are able to pick up maps on you, imagine what the top 4 teams could do against you if you're currently in that form. Because Subliners only dropped 1 map. They almost tried to play perfect COD. Like, if that makes sense, if I've analyzed it well, like it seems like they've tried to play perfect COD, but only dropped one map, and then obviously round 4 finals they cleaned up, 3-0. But Ultra, in comparison, it's like, okay, yeah, you got the job done, but it was scrappy at some point.
Ultra got beaten by Gorillas. Like, let's be real, we knew how this shit was going.
Ultra got beat,
they got beat round by Gorillas. Like, if you get beat by Gorillas, bro, you gotta just pack it in, man. Go next. Go next, please. And then they beat a Royal Ravens, which is not really like. It's annoying because you'd want Ravens to fight a lot more because they had to get 10 CDL points. That's the whole reason they're not at champs now. They got double bopped out. Like, they're not at champs. But for me, I don't think that's a hard matchup, Ravens versus Ultra. I don't think that's a test for Ultra. So by the time they got to Heretics, who just beat Optic convincingly, like, I'm not surprised they were looking a little bit iffy.
Mm-mm.
And then after that, I think they ran out of steam. I'm not gonna lie. I think they ran out of steam.
No, that Surge game, like, they really need to pull something out of the bag, which they did. S&D, they won 6-1, like, absolutely just destroyed Surge. But look how close inconsistencies from both teams, like Ultra in map 1 win 250 to 165, and then you win 6-2 in S&D, but then you lose 3-2 in Control and then 250 to 125. How do you be dominant in the first 2 maps and then completely fall off in the 3rd and 4th? That is bewildering to me. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when they then went into elimination round 4 against Subliners to then get 3-0'd, it makes sense because you guys weren't showing the consistencies throughout the maps. Do you know what I'm saying? You would hammer them first 2, then you'd get hammered next 2. So, yeah. Ultra probably... I don't see them winning champs, in my opinion. I think they get like a 4th place. I think my top 3 is definitely FaZe, in no particular order: FaZe, Subliners, Optic. I think Ultra just scrape top 4 type shit. Not really scrape, but I don't mean scrape via like the stats wise. I mean just in comparison to the other teams, they can be amongst the conversation. Do you know what I mean?
I actually think this is probably one of the highest champs brackets to ever predict, because what it looks like to me is all these top 4 teams are a bar maybe FaZe. All these top 4 teams, the only reason why they're finding inconsistency is because it's not a teamwork thing. It's like 1 or 2 players are just not playing to their potential. And for Ultra, I think it's Envoy.
Yes.
Like, you look at that team, you're like, scrap. Like, you look at Subliners, you're like, Hydro has been playing incredibly the entire season. You look at FaZe, Simp and Abizi have not missed a flipping beat. Like, let's not even mention Cell. Like, let's not even bring up this guy. He's probably winning AR MVP the flipping season.
There's a lot of talk about FaZe. If they win champs, could Simp and Abizi, or even individually, be considered one of the greatest of all times? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got more, but
yeah. But Simp and Abizi specifically, what they have won throughout their time in just like competitive Call of Duty is incredible. Like, and they're still so young. Do you know what I mean?
It's sickening.
It's the same conversations with FaZe. It's just they've literally just got to pick up the chips. Do you know what I'm saying? You're getting to the finals, but you need to pick up the chips. They need what I think people expect from FaZe is that Cold War phase. Like, we know how good you are. It's just, can you do a win major 1, win major 2, win major 3 kind of thing? Do you know what I'm saying? Like a back-to-back of 3-peat stuff, because that's the caliber that FaZe are at now. Well, this FaZe team, I think, are at where you guys have clearly shown you can dominate the league, but you're falling short literally at the grand finals. Like,
the mentality thing. One thing FaZe has never lacked is skill and talent. One thing they have lacked is a strong mental, which is why they've been trying to find a leader for their team for the last like 4 years. Like, that has been FaZe's only issue. When it comes to those, like, your slasher, your RCEs, why are you not clicking? Like, there's something to do with the other 3 players that they do. I don't think they had that dog in them. They were just sick. They were like the prodigy team that were made in a lab, but they had no heart. Like, they had no personality. They were just there being amazing at everything. This is the first year that you actually look at FaZe, you're like, wait, you not actually might have that dog in you now. Like, I hear the way Cell talks, I hear the way Sim talks, I'm hearing the way BD talks. Obviously, they got Draza, who's like propelled them from like a personality-less org to just a team that everybody wants to beat because of how confident they are. So I'm like, this would be the year that they actually get that dub, in my opinion. I would expect FaZe to win something like this just because of how much the team has changed in terms of their mindset towards winning. They want to win everything. They don't want to be the best. They want to win. Before they were the best and they weren't winning. I think it's shifted for them now. They just want to win at this point. But yeah, I think
that's where, just going back to your point again, just real quick, it is a mentality thing, because if you're constantly just losing at the last leg, it's going to take like some sort of effect on your mental, because it's like, right, we're locking in from start to finish, but we keep failing at finish. That's going to take a toll on the mental, because how like it is very strenuous to fall at the last hurdle and then lock back in to do it again and then again and again, and then you're literally falling short every time. Like, it must be so daunting. Like, I almost feel sorry for them, but it's what comes with the being a professional Call of Duty player,
or a professional football player.
Oh yeah,
we're just comparing it to England. Like, well, I mean, obviously from
Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah, well, but England have a very good team. They're capable of winning, but they don't manage well. It's not the same with FaZe in that regard, but they have come second twice in just as many tournaments, and something's got to change. Maybe the mentality needs to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I think
it's like what Bellingham said as well. Like in his interview, it was like he said, eventually we've got to win something. Yeah, and I think that's the mentality with FaZe. It's like, guys, like we can be amongst the best or be the best, but we have to prove it by actually winning a chip or chips or champ. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
FaZe should be what Falcons are for Warzone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's quite simple. Falcons are winning everything. They're actually winning. They are the best mechanically, and they're winning. And that is what creates, quote unquote, a dynasty. What you don't want is for FaZe to be that org that people talk about for years to come, that they were so dominant, and you look back at how many chips they could have won and how many they actually won, and the disparity doesn't make sense. And that is why people are still questioning Simp and Abizi at the moment, or mainly Simp, because it's like, you are so good, you should be winning everything, but you're not. Why is that? And once he gets over that hump, then he will be undisputed. But the whole reason why people still calling Crim6 the GOAT is because he won everything. Yeah. That's the whole point. You have to win. You can't just be, oh yeah, I was one of the greatest players of all time. What did you win? All right, then. Like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What did you win is a tough question.
What did you win? So, boy, they win this champs. Oi! Moving forward, it's going to be very interesting.
Scary conversations need to be had.
Any of the top 4 teams could win. It just depends on the mentality. Like, it depends on who wants it the most. Everyone just has to click. Like you said, like, if it's not about who makes mistakes and more about who's just playing at their peak, you kind of can't call it.
Yeah, no, you can't.
I don't know what happens when Kleenex and Envoy suddenly turn up and start dropping 2.0s. I don't know what happens to that Ultra team then. I don't know what happens when Sib and Kismet start just frying teams. I don't know what happens when Shotzi stops dying on all of his plays, when Pred is literally getting 5 kills, 6 kills, 7 kill streaks, screaming dead. I don't know what happens when all these teams catch fire anymore at the same time.
That sounds like that sounds like a WrestleMania weekend. I ain't gonna lie.
And that's what I want to see, damn it.
It's a head loss moment.
I do pose a question though. Obviously, we got a top 4. We have 8 teams all together competing for champs. Who is the most likely team on the bottom 4 to potentially cause an upset and take champs?
Oh, I know this already. Oh! See, you had me in the first half.
Let me land. So that's Heretics, Surge, Thieves, and Gorillas.
Because you said win it, that changed it for me, but then it hasn't. Now thinking about it just real quick, I'm going to go with Heretics. I think Heretics have been that bogey team all year. They started off very, very, okay, I wouldn't say very, very slow, but they started off very poor. Like, there was at one point where they couldn't win a LAN or something. There was something about them during their campaign that they were notorious for. Can't remember where it was, but something stuck to them, somewhat of a story, yeah? But now that we've reached the latter stages of the CDL, they have come alive. Heretics have come alive. I really enjoy watching Heretics because they're very fast-paced. They're a no-nonsense team. They shoot very well. Their positional awareness is great. Like the IQ is there. Like I really, ever since you picked Heretics, Piggy, I said to myself, right, because obviously I heard that they used to be part of the what was the old tournament again? CWC, whatever it was called. Yeah,
CCW, yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. When you told me about, I was thinking, okay, so if they're an old org or whatever, okay, let's see what they can do. I didn't want to judge them like the first 2 majors or whatever. This is where I wanted to judge them, and my judgment on them now, I think they can cause an upset and potentially go to a grand finals maybe. The thing is, their first match is against FaZe though.
Yeah.
So everything I just said has basically just been shattered to the ground.
I mean, yes and no. Even if they drop to losers, I still feel like they can do up. That's the thing. I'm not really worried about them dropping to losers because the other teams I think will drop to losers. I think they'd beat them.
Can we universally agree between all of us, including those in chat that obviously watch the CDL, Heretics out of LA Thieves, LA Gorillas, and Surge, they're the strongest out of the 4.
I'm going Surge.
You're going Surge. It's funny. It's funny how I went with your team and you're going with my team. We might as well do a quick little roster change or something.
I feel left out like horrendously right now. I'm not gonna lie, because no one can even say my team because they're not here. You know.
Bro, your team has been disbanded, bro. There's only one player that's on the roster.
They might as well pick me up at this point. Now I'm playing.
Bro, they might as well. No, we want to hear your thoughts. Like, who do you think?
Yeah.
Like, who do you think can cause an upset and potentially win, like on a far-fetched kind of thing?
Well, I haven't seen enough from Thieves.
Mm.
I haven't seen enough from Legion. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think Heretics is probably the one for me, just because like it's kind of like what Janice has said. Like they've been good when they've got to that point. When they were able to be good, they've been good, but they lack ice. Now the other teams haven't been good, so I can't even look at it from a perspective of they have ice in certain scenarios to have that sort of run. I feel like if any team out of this lot are going to do it, Heretics at least have shown quality, just not in enough quantity. If that makes any sense. So I'm gonna go with Heretics on this one. Surge, there's potential. You know, I can see why Piggy's kind of gone on that side of things. They're arguably more the experienced out of the teams to kind of be that upset. However, it's a matter of whether they're prepared to do it here and now, as opposed to, you know, when it doesn't matter.
Right, now's the time.
Yeah, literally. So that'll be my only argument. But yeah,
I mainly say it for the same reason. Like Heretics, they ain't got no ice, man. They ain't got no ice. That's what upsets me about this team. I think they are a momentum-based squad, but they get really, really, what's the word?
Complacent.
They crumble very easily.
Yeah, I think it's complacency as well, because they get hyped and then it's just like, guys, like, that's a simple play that you guys should be picking up on. Like, for example, what's the invasion control, right? You know, someone always likes to go on the flank, right? B, I think it's B. Yeah, B. You know, someone always wants to flank, so someone just needs to anchor the back. But everyone was pushed in front, and I remember this play vividly. I can't remember what team it was, but I remember it vividly. They had to like. When they got caught by that person at the back flanking, everybody just started moving erratic, and then it was just like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just those things that it's simple stuff like that you should be picking up on. But heat of the moment, things change, you know.
Out of other teams, the fire burns the brightest when they're on point, but it also goes out the quickest. So I don't think they're gonna make it long enough to do that. I think they'll cause an upset. They'll probably beat one of the big teams, and then they'll probably just
that'll be their pinnacle. Yeah.
The reason why I pick Surge is because I like picking teams that aren't the obvious team to pick. I mean, then again, if that was true, I'd pick flipping Gorillas. But there's something about Surge that when I look at their year and then I look at how well they've done with some of the worst cards that have been dealt and also making some of the dumbest decisions. The stuff with Illy, you know, playing Abuza out of his role that he's now in, picking up 04, like they have gone through what I would say is the most true to a realistic year compared to all the other teams. They have literally gone through trials and tribulations. They are trying to create a team with an element of cohesion, and I think they found it. Now, I don't think these are the 4 best players in the league, but I'm looking at Hook, and so I don't know what it is, but I'm looking at Hook, and I'm looking at Empire Hook at his peak. I'm looking at Optic Hook when he was playing well, and I'm looking at this team, and I'm like, now that they have 04, which is some type of 04 is like a Grim Reaper. Like that kid, I don't know where the hell he came from, but 04 might be one of the most underrated players in this league currently out of these top 8 teams. Because the things that they've pulled off against the subliners, the things they've pulled off even against like close maps with like Ultra, I think they've even beaten Ultra, close maps with Optic. It's not random flukes. It's not like, oh, they just caught these teams on a bad day. It's though they actually outplayed these top 4 teams in some of these maps, just from basic IQ and the fact that these are clearly like S&D kids. These are respawn heavy kids. When you look at Hook and look at Abuza, these are the slayers. They have like every element of an amazing team. They just need to do it on the right day. And in my opinion, Champs could be the right day for them.
Why?
Whereas with like Heretics, I feel like they just sometimes catch teams that aren't performing very well, and they just
they catch.
I don't think they play really top performing teams who are performing on the day closely. It's usually like, oh yeah, this team's a bit weak today, so we're gonna stomp them out. Whereas I've seen subliners go up against Surge go up against like a top form subliners that's actually playing well and destroy them. So when you can do that, I have faith in you on the big stage at LAN. I have faith in these 4 players to do something special. But ultimately, up to Texas.
Yep.
No, that's a.
Gotta take this.
Yep.
It's a decent take still.
I need. You know, listen. There isn't a world where HBK Shawn Michaels back in the 90s or the early 2000s goes back to Texas and doesn't deliver a championship, right? There is no way that Stone Cold Steve Austin, comes out of retirement, kicks ass in Texas and loses. Do you understand? So I don't know what sermon or what sort of like, energy needs to be provided, towards Optic Texas. But I'm telling you now, they gotta bring it home.
They need plot armor.
That too.
That's it. They just need their plot armor. Like, Optics are like the stars aligned for this team. Like they definitely play off like legacy, destiny. I think they're the most like whimsical team when it comes to just like looking at the legacy of the org. Like, I don't know, they're just that team that have an aura, right? And it might be because of the content side of things. You look at what's happened before, what happened with the Optic team that won in Infinite Warfare, I believe.
Yep.
And how many of the tournaments that they should have won, they didn't. And it was a tournament where they weren't really necessarily, they were like one of the favorites, but like they were more of the favorites leading up to that than that particular tournament where they won champs. And It was literally like a Cinderella story. The team was like going through some things that didn't make sense. They were dropping to like teams and dropping maps that didn't, like, people are like, what's happened to you? Like, you were literally going undefeated, and then you've got this blimp that makes you look like you're just not going to win anything. And that's the champs they won. So if I'm looking at history, I'm like, hey, it would make sense for them to put it together. So I think they can. Like you said, when they're all playing their best, I don't think there's a team that can beat Optic when they're actually playing their best. I think the reason they don't win as much as they should is because they don't always play their best. I think that is the reason that they lose.
Well,
because their best isn't good enough. So
I mean,
we'll see.
There's that conversation of them. Like, I'm dead. There's this I'm dead. There's conversation obviously in regards to not being able to deliver a map right now. I'd like to look at it in a sense where Optic, for me, like what we've obviously seen over the last, let's say, month, right? It's not a true representative of what they are capable of doing, and I don't think it'd be wise. I mean, we ruled out subliners for near enough 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden they went, you know what I mean? I don't think it'd be wise to now completely rule out a team that's actually won a major in this series. So I feel like, look, everyone's going to, some people go for recency bias, others go off of their favorite team, and others just like an underdog. Funnily enough, we have all three, or having won something in this sense. So I don't know, or four rather. So I don't know what's going to happen, you know? But I agree with Piggy here. I think, look, they got to bring it home, man. They got to bring it.
All right, quick. Who's your grand final 2 teams make it to grand finals.
I know what I want to say here, and I know it's gonna rattle Warren. I'm going for.
Do you know what? I think it's a classic. I think it's a classic. I think it's a classic matchup.
I think
I'm
El Clasico.
I think it's Optic Phase, bro. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
University.
It's what we want to see, man. It's what we want to see.
And you know, that would be a good end to the season as well. See a classic matchup for champs like that.
Listen, man.
Optic on home turf against FaZe, who's been dominant all season. Sorry.
Cinderella story.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I'm just excited to watch. Like,
Janice thinks
there's no bogey teams.
Janice thinks last major, so it's the same as the last major. NY lose to FaZe, losers run and beat FaZe in the finals. Interesting.
Oh wow.
I wouldn't be
Interesting.
surprised.
Type shit.
They've gone back to back before and won champs. So
yeah, they have.
If
They did last year. No, they did last year.
They did it last year. So
yeah, they did last year.
That makes sense.
Lock in, people.
No, I hear it, and I can honestly say, out of the top 4 teams, there's not one that I would be upset with winning or be like, oh, come on, man. There's a storyline for all of them that I would appreciate. Even Ultra, like, I mean, scrap chatting rubbish for another year. I can't lie, that's entertainment. That, you know, it would be interesting. But yeah, every team has a storyline here and a reason why they should be putting 100% into it. And champs is where you get the best out of teams. So I think for the next 4 days from Thursday, we are in for probably one of the best tournaments we've seen from the CDL.
Yes, sir.
So make sure you guys are tuned in to the Twitter page, Too Good Cast, because I will be back on my BS as much as I can.
I'm done.
Covering everything.
We will try to cover it as a unit. And hopefully we don't tire out Piggy, because I'm sorry, but she's just had a weekend off of 5 Red Bulls. I don't think she needs another one.
Yeah, definitely just finish another can on pod as well. Yeah.
We love you guys, Red Bull.
Sickness.
I don't tell you.
We love you. We do love you.
But yeah,
I think that's pretty much everything for the CDL wrapped up.
And that
Just
technically,
champs.
we have. See, now here's the thing: we can go into BO6, and we've dibbled and dabbled. We are 3 hours and hold on. We are technically 3 hours and 9 minutes into this poddy. Now, this is more so down to you guys. I am more than happy to kind of go through some of the stuff that's already been announced and whatever, or we can leave it for next week.
For the pod, we might as well leave it. But we can talk about it.
I mean, the BO6 stuff won't it'll probably be like a half an hour episode at best, because there isn't so much we can go into to the point where it's like, oh my god, like it's everything.
Yeah, and I was thinking as well, they might shed more light on
in between now and
and then like they might release another pod, for example.
Next pod, we got things for chat about. Okay, we're gonna have season 5. We're gonna have champs aftermath. Well, we're probably gonna have more
roadmap actually.
They will. By the time we do our next one, we will have everything. So
fair enough.
Like Charlie Entos just tweeted the art for season 5. So it looks like season 5 is slowly being pushed out. Like
okay,
we can probably save it.
Okay, well, that ties up the end of this podcast. It's been one of I don't even want to use the word extra, because it has been massive. It's been huge, this podcast. We're really happy that we're able to do it live, especially under the circumstance in which we started. But I think it's good to kind of commemorate the fact that this is our first full year as a team. And I always say this anyway, but I couldn't have chosen 2 better people to have done this with. And I can't wait to see where this goes. And obviously, you guys being part of Too Good Nation, the Piglet Army, and obviously, though I don't even know what Wars' community's name is.
Community Warren.
They're just called Wars' Army.
There you go. So like, but like, yeah, like just having you guys being part of it has been very special. Obviously, you guys being able to lock in on it on a live stream perspective is great, but just being like having your opinions as part of the YouTube video as well means a lot, because obviously we want to have more of you guys engaged with it. We will be back next week with the season 5 roadmap and more BO6 stuff, because obviously that shit's just going to be hitting like.
Yeah, we need to. the hype is real with BO6. I can't lie.
I'm saying so.
Like every day I wake up having to contain the excitement, you know.
On 100.
Like that feels like a job in itself.
And said, yeah, man, it does feel like that. But for me, Piggy and Warren, that is it for this episode. Make sure you lock in. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the link down below to follow on all socials over on Twitter, TikTok, which you'll be seeing short form very shortly, and of course the YouTube channel. But peace.
Peace.